Good evening, one and all. It's Friday, it's the end of the working week, and it's time for us to jump into, well, today's bit of variety. And that variety today is actually the end of a series. Oh, yes, indeed. This is probably going to be the very last time that I ever need to bring up this particular document on stream. The very, very last time. And it's been a long time coming. For those who don't know, this is my project to turn all Warframes into Dungeons & Dragons monsters, multiple tiers of them. Yo!
Wowza, 6 months already? Whoop whoop, the first D&D monster stream I get to see.
Hey, welcome in, I was Red, with the 6-month resub, leveling up to a gold badge right next to your name there. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for that there. And yeah, it's funny that you say that's your first, considering I've just said that this is the last of these development streams, but that's the way it goes, isn't it? That is the way it goes. A lot of these development streams are over on YouTube as well, so exclamation mark replays if anyone wanted to check those out. And a number of these were developed off stream because, let's face it, I was never going to get it done only on streams. That was just physically impossible. But Red, let's add your bauble to the tree, shall we? Let's grab a bauble for you. We are this lovely rose gold one here. No, you've just upgraded to a gold badge. Let's get an actual gold bauble for you. There we are. That can go. I'm running out of branches. That one available, that is. Oh, no, it's got a bauble hidden under the tinsel. My god, there's just so many. Here. I'm gonna have to just go for the bottom of the tree now. That's how far we're going. Whew. Alright then. You had the old VODs and you watch later? Yeah, 30. So yeah. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the project, as I say, it is to turn all the Warframes into D&D monsters. You got your intro, as you get with any kind of book of monsters to look at. So what are they? What can they do generally? And then it gets in to the actual frames individually, giving stat blocks for low level, medium level, high level, and top level, the prime Warframe. And each tier is designed to be more complicated, to introduce more of the Warframe's abilities, and to give them just overall more power, so that it's scaled not only to this level of gameplay, but also to the level of complexity that players are probably ready for at that tier of gameplay. It has been a very long running project. I did the very first of these in its alpha development. A lot has changed since then, but the very first of these back in November 2022, if I recall. No, is it 22 or 23? Actually, shit, I can't remember now. Suffice to say, it's been a long time. It's been over a year. Very long time on the first one. I genuinely can't remember now. It's just, my head's broken. I'll be honest, I've lost track. All I know is I've spent over 400 hours on this project. A long time. Designing, getting the graphics together, getting the stats together, building all the different pieces, and doing playtesting of them as well. And when I say getting the stats together, Kelton, thank you for the bit. When I say getting the stats together, it's not like I can just go to the Warframe wiki and copy paste. It's two entirely different game systems, game mechanics. You can't just copy that over, so it is literal development. But today, we can scroll past Ash, we can scroll past Atlas, we can scroll past Banshee, we can scroll past Baruch. We're going even further, we're going past Caliban, we're going past Chroma, we're going past Citrine, and just before Dagath, right in this spot here, is where CYTE-09 shall sit. Oh yes indeed. Coros Sultano saying, looking forward to seeing your take on this, got a concept for a similar project but setting them as subclasses. Yeah, so right back at the very start of this project, I decided they were better as monsters rather than as player characters for a couple reasons. First of all, getting any DM to be on board with homebrew classes and subclasses is always a pain in the ass. Because, let's face it, it's just some random homebrew from some random dude on the internet. How much would you trust it? Second, Warframes are very simple. They have 4 abilities, by and large. 4 abilities. That does not create a class. It barely creates a couple features to pick from in a subclass. And so either one mix and matches and melds together multiple Warframe things, or expands beyond Warframes into Operator, and that's its own problems. Or just doesn't have a lot to choose from. Instead, I wanted the Warframes to have their own proper identity, and they work best as enemies. Then they can be ruthless, they can be destructive, and they can be simple. They don't need to have serious depth to their characterization because they're Monster of the Week, rather than, well, an entire player part in a campaign. So, with that all in mind, let's jump on down to that section there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the very start of the DEC section to create the new section for CYTE-09. Just like that. Very simple. That's how one gets started. This will be the CYTE-09 initiate, and I'll work through all the stats and bits and pieces from there. Now, if you haven't seen my guide yet over on YouTube, it did go live just minutes before this stream, just long enough to watch it, not long enough to have watched it if you didn't catch it the moment it went live. That's just kind of how long it took to get it all together and finished and done, all the bits and pieces. But it is up there, so if you want to check that out, you absolutely can, with !CYTE or !CYTE-09, both should work, giving you a link to that guide. But if you already know how CYTE-09 works, how they feel, how they vibe, then we can just run through with this, absolutely. Now, I've got a number of tools to help me out on making this kind of thing. So if I go to my stat sheet that I made for the D&D Warframes, there we go. One of the crucial things I pointed out in the video is that CYTE-09 is even weaker than Banshee. Even weaker than Banshee. And Banshee was already pretty much the floor of weakness. You don't get fewer hit points. Maybe Loki. I think Loki was just slightly lower than Banshee. Can't remember, I'll be honest. CYTE-09 takes that even further. So we're going to have to factor that in the design of CYTE-09 here. That CYTE-09 is absolutely supposed to be low on the power scaling in that regard, and then bringing it up in the rest of their kit. Now, the other thing of consideration is if I want to go for a artificery style approach, a gunslinger style approach, or something altogether different. And I've been really debating that before this stream, genuinely trying to figure it in my head which direction is best to go. Because on the one hand, you've got sniper, hold a big old gun, shoot down your foes. That feels very much a ranged attacker focused, kind of a survivalist style. You could really lean into the ranger approach, or just straight fighter style-esque. But then going down the more artificer style route, it allows me to instead pivot the stats towards an intelligence and wisdom basis, and so completely dumping the physical stats, kind of akin to the lack of defensive nature that CYTE-09 has in general. My concern there is then making them perhaps too weak until they get that invisibility on the 3rd tier. So yeah, what do you walk into? A bar, perhaps? Welcome on in. We are in the midst of turning Warframe into D&D Monster. It's a very long-term project. I know I'm streaming in the Warframe category today, rather than the Dungeons & Dragons section. I feel it's relevant enough. That's two things being melded together. And there will be the Warframe Captura side at the end of actually doing the mechanical development. There are D3 dice. I mean, you can roll a D6, then halve it round up. So if you roll a 6-sided dice, you get 1 or 2, that's a 1. 3 or 4, that's a 2. 5 and 6, that's a 3. That's how you do D3 without having some weird D3. Modding site? I've already done the modding. The guide's up on YouTube, Lady Ada. The guide is already up on YouTube for that. !CYTE-09. Or just !CYTE. Both work. What software am I using this? I am using the Home Brewery. So it is produced by Natural Crit. It is a web browser based development system. What's this saying? If you misunderstood the title, you very literally have. We don't make Dungeons & Dragons monsters in Warframe them itself. Modding does not make a Dungeons & Dragons monster. A Dungeons & Dragons monster has stat blocks. Like these here for Degath. I am turning all Warframes into D&D monsters. Exclamation mark WF D&D for more info on that. The way I pronounce Artificia displeases you? Does it, Zomtronic? My pronunciation displeases you, does it? Well, it's fine. It's just an Artificia. Because it's artificial, so it's fine. You getting the stike? Fair enough. I'm not going to relent on this Zom. Not going to relent. Spite will power me today. So, with CYTE-09, I think leaning into the int basis is going to be the way forwards with this one. Iggling furiously. I mean, I don't even need to change that one. You spelt it wrong. You're the one who did that. ZSA, I feel like CYTE has to be that smart int base you're talking about, the Artificer. Tend to enjoy the playstyle he offers, being calculated, stealthy to stalk, and take out your enemies before they even know you're the next zip code over. Yeah, this is one of the awkward things, is that stealth is dexterity based as well. Yeah. Never in your life have you ever heard of D&D crossed with Warframe? Hey, well, glad I could bring you something new in life. There we are then. I intend to have this released by the end of the year. That means all the graphics done, all the mechanics done, everything. CYTE-09 is the last mechanical thing to add, and then it is adding the last bits of graphics. There's about, well, there's the main page for CYTE-09, and then I think about 24 or so smaller graphics I've identified I want to put in various places. And then it's done. I think. One final spell check, but otherwise done. CYTE-09 should have some charisma just because of Quincy. Quincy and CYTE-09 are two different characters. I think Quincy would feel rather upset if they were compared to just a mass-printed Warframe from Blueprints. In fact, I'm fairly certain Quincy would be well offended at that. So, yeah. I'm fine to separate the two there, but I get your point. I'm just looking at the stats I gave Banshee. So Banshee Initiate. Let me just double check these are the up-to-date stats. I think they are. I'm just going to triple check that. Banshee Initiate 10, 16, 10, 16, 14, 6. That's different. Oh wait, no, yeah, I've got the updated list over on the other side. Yep. Yeah. You know, honestly, I think that's actually going to be a very good base to go from. Banshee and CYTE-09 aren't exactly miles apart in terms of defense. They are very similar natured. So, you know what? Banshee is a very good calling point to draw this from. So, I will use that as a kind of base to put this together. In fact, to that end, let's grab the... Oh, don't need to scroll that one. Let's grab the Banshee stat block instead, copy that one down, and use that as my template. That's just going to make my life so much easier to work from that base. Let's grab you. Reconnect to the page. Boom. And I'll put in the blurb intro goes here. I'll put that at the end. Okay, so CYTE-09 Initiate. So with the armor class and hit points, I am happy for those to stay pretty much as is. Do I have any capacity for the hit points to go any lower? They could go lower. I don't think there's a reason to do so, but they could go lower. So that is an option. No. Let's run with this from here. Let's start filling up all the details. So we got Perception and Stealth is what Banshee was using as her initial skills. CYTE-09, I feel like Perception Stealth also fits very damn well. Again, Doesn't really feel like a lot of change needs to happen on that side. Soundless form, however, absolutely needs to go. 100% does not stick around. And instead, if I have a quick look, it's called Practiced Aim for the passive. Now, in Warframe, Practiced Aim is you hit weak points, you get increased crit chance, a teeny tiny amount per kill, but it keeps on going up and up and up and up and up. I'll be honest, that doesn't give us a lot to work with in a D&D sense, because, well, fights don't last that long. Excuse me. CYTE-09 here certainly won't be getting 300 kills to get that kind of a passive running. Thank you, Ellie. So, maybe bonus damage on crit stealth attacks. See, I am wary about increasing the power of crits themselves. The danger with increasing the power of crits is that it becomes very swingy. Either you don't roll a crit, and therefore you see nothing from the frame, or you do roll a crit, and now your player gets one shot. And that scares people. Decreasing of crit range, now that is along the lines I was kind of thinking I was read, yes. That is along the lines I was kind of thinking. And, or rather increasing crit range. Decreasing crit minimum, as it were. So, in normal D&D, if you roll a 20-sided die for an attack roll and you roll a 20, it's a crit. If you roll less than 20, it's not a crit. By increasing the crit range, you say, these numbers below 20 also count as a critical hit. And that can get nasty. That can get nasty. Each hit from CYTE-09 gives him extra chance to hit. I'm not sure I want to go down the plus to hit route. Because it's not accuracy that increases, it's the power of the actual hit that increases. Yeah, I'm thinking the increased crit range can absolutely be the spot. So every time CYTE-09 lands a critical hit, its critical range increases. Which means if it reaches a point where its crit range has ballooned to obscene levels, where you shouldn't have let CYTE-09 fire that many shots, they're getting into the swing of things. They're out for blood. They've zeroed in on your movements. They can only land crits or something like that. You let it get that bad, then it gets that bad. If we just double check on how I've defined crit range. Critical range is the range of die rolls on d20 which results in a critical hit for attacks. Defaults 20, yada yada. When increased crit range, the next highest values are considered critical hits too, but only if they beat the AC of the target. Good, I did include that detail. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So, it doesn't break the general hit equation. Let's just do this. But I can increase the crit range continuously to the point of effectively building on the idea that CYTE-09 could eventually just only crit or miss. Which feels very much like a sniper if you think about it. All of the bonuses that get stacked into CYTE-09's ability, into his fourth, you either headshot and deal millions of damage, or you body shot and you might as well have missed. So yeah, actually, I'm happy with this one. Practiced aim. Is it spelled practice like that? Nope, they use a C. That's fine. Practiced aim. Also, I need to update that. It's actually CYTE-09's bullet jump. There we go. Practiced aim. Whenever CYTE-09 lands a critical hit with a ranged attack, capitalize ranged attack, its critical range increases by 1. This can stack indefinitely. Indefinitely. There we are. I know that in Warframe it stops at 300%, but you know what? I want to be terrifying. Let's just make that really, really high. And then let's have a reset effect on it. This feature resets. No. CYTE-09's critical range returns to normal if it hasn't made an attack for 5 minutes. So that's very much a practiced aim on a single encounter. I'm not waiting for a short rest. I am very much saying, look, if he's not shooting at something, if there's no attacking going on, there's not the practice going on. So the crit reset, it's only in the moment. That gives that terrifying under fire feel. You can't just try and figure out where CYTE-09 is. You've got to deal with CYTE-09 or break CYTE-09's ability to attack you. And if DM wants to use that to then just make CYTE-09 attack a wall once every 5 minutes, like, haha, that maintained the thing, then your DM's a dick. I can't fix dickhead DMs. So I'm not going to try and write around an arsehole. Aside from that, that should give a nasty side to it. The CYTE-09's avoid power abilities intelligence. Avoid powers listed in the actions below. Okay. Now, given that CYTE-09 is going to be straight up Artificery style sharpshooter, we're going for the massive sniper focus. Excuse me. I think I'm going to lean into breaking the mold compared to most of the other Warframes and giving CYTE-09 straight up guns for the attacks. I've not done this with almost every other Warframe, almost, because, well, quite frankly, I want them to be able to drop into any campaign. But if someone is picking CYTE-09 as their monster of the week or whatever they're doing it with, then they're acknowledging guns are in this campaign, shooting is going to happen. So they'll be fine with the vibe of it. Whereas, say, if I gave a gun to Sarin, sure, Sarin wields guns in Warframe, but if you wanted a Sarin in just a swampy, sword and sorcery environment, suddenly gun on a swamp monster doesn't quite fit the same. So that's why I've done it like that for the others. But for this one, we don't need the short sword, we don't need the light crossbow, we can give CYTE-09 guns. And I think that's for the best. So what I can do on that regard is I can... You know what, I'm going to straight up use the 2 signature weapons of CYTE-09, actually, as my inspiration. Let's use those 2. So CYTE-09 came with... Well, CYTE-09 has 1 signature weapon, I should say, the Reconifex, but also shipped with the... was it Vexec, I want to say? Was it Vexec? Oh, Vesper 77. I'm thinking of the thing that was with Amir in the quest, weren't I? Vesper 77, wasn't it? Yeah. Should have remembered. It's the gun with numbers in the name, just like with CYTE-09 with numbers in the name. That's fine, that's fine. Okay. So what I can do is have that sidearm be a hard-hitting single shot, and then Reconifex, because it is an auto rifle, that could be the multi-attack spray down. So then we've got a option for the DM to use smaller attacks and bigger attacks to spread out the attacks or focus down someone, depending on the vibe of the encounter. It's a way for a DM to use soft balancing without cheating, because I don't want a DM to ever fudge, or feel the need to fudge. If you have to fudge dice, something's gone wrong as far as I'm concerned. So, CYTE-09 makes 2 attacks with its Reconifex. That's how it's spelled, right? Yeah, Reconifex. Yep. So, we've got Reconifex. We've got Vesper 77. And do I want to give CYTE-09 a backup, like just Shiv? Dagger of some sort? What does Quincy use in the quest? A ceramic dagger. Okay, yeah, sure. Dagger it is. That's perfect. Hello, Jason. I figured I'd see you on this stream. Welcome on in. So yeah, just a straight up dagger can be added for that. And we'll add Seek and its stats in a moment. So, Recon Effects is a ranged weapon attack. Seeing as I have actually leaned into Dex as well as Int, we can just use those for attacks, that'll be fine. Nah, not to worry, Jason, not to worry. I know how work can get in the way of things, absolutely. Okay, it's this range, let's give it a nice, good range on it. So I'm going to say 120, 400 feet. I'm just kind of pulling those numbers out of my ass, I'll be honest. So 120, 400 feet, one target, hit, and yeah, sticking with the 6 for the 1d6 plus 3 piercing damage would do just fine on that. So that gives us 2 hits for 12 damage, 2 hits for 13 damage average with those attacks, which is on the lower end, but we should be able to figure through that over time. So yeah, Recon Effects for the hits there, and then Vesper 77. Also ranged weapon attack, also plus 5 to hit. This one will make much shorter range, so we'll make it 40, 90 feet. Much shorter range. One target on hit. This one I want it to hurt. So let's think on that carefully. Let's lean into the Vesper's weak spotting critical damage. So aiming highlights weak points indicated by crosshairs and grants plus 40% critical damage. I think... I got an idea. What if I give this one bonus damage if it beats the AC by 5 or more? That's a very unique kind of nature and leans into the whole, hey, if you got a good enough shot, you completely bypass their defenses. So Vesper becomes a bit of a swing in that regard, and then very much rewards gaining advantage from one way or another. I'm going to lean into that road. So, short range, big slapper, let's give it a base 1d12 plus 3, which is already terrifying. So 1d12 plus 3, average on that is 9 damage. So unique mechanic. There's a lot of different mechanics I've included of things to that nature. I mean, you can't put together 269 pages of a document without some of these mechanics slipping in. That's like for, I've done the inverse before now on a completely different project, which involved adding shotguns in. And the way they worked is that if you were firing into the long range of the shotgun, the damage dice dropped down from D8 to D4. So what it basically meant is that the spread was also reduced in the total damage. It was a way of implementing that harsh fall-off that video game-style shotguns have. Yeah, I think, yeah, it was that instead of disadvantage. Long range gave it the reduced damage. That's what it was. Anyway, 40, 90 feet, one target hit. Now, do I go 40, 90? That feels a bit weird. I'm actually going to go 30, 90. Yeah, just numerically that feels better. Anyway, 1d12 plus 3. If the attack roll beats the target's AC by 5 or more, this attack deals an additional... Let's make it tied to int. Yeah, deals an additional 3 damage, and I'll scale that up over time with int. So behind the scenes, that's literally int modifier bonus damage. It's the intellect of scoping in and getting the weak spot. That's what I'm scaling that off. It'll be hard to see it just kind of without knowing it's there, but you guys know it's there. Hello, Yasin. Welcome on in. And then for the dagger, we have a melee, or a ranged weapon attack. And this is again +5 to hit. Reach 5 foot. Or range 20, 60 foot. One target. On hit, a dagger is a simple 1d4 plus dex or strength, dex in this case, which is 5 damage, all piercing. Now the dagger isn't really supposed to be used. It is to show that CYTE-09 does have a melee option if pushed into it. But at those damage stats, and the fact there's no multi-attack on it, CYTE-09 does not want to be using that dagger. Yasin, cheers. Okay. So far we got the very basic attacks down. That just kind of gives us the vibe as to the direction that CYTE-09 goes. But now we need to do the thing which is unique to Warframes, and it is their spellcasting. So, using the template here. There we go. Love that I gave Dagath a whip, because of those typically underrated weapons. Oh yeah. Yeah, Dagath has a leech sword and a fell whip. The leech sword allowing Dagath to restore hit points, the fell whip dealing extra necrotic damage, and that keys into Dagath's passive. I converted the passive on it. So Abundant Abyss is whenever Dagath regains hit points, roll a 1d3. On a 3, Dagath regains 3 times the amount. Switching over from the orb. Because there are no orbs in D&D. Miss a lot? You have missed a lot, Jason, yeah. Why only D6 on recon effects? It feels like it should be a D8 or 10. I get what you're saying there. At the same time, the recon effects is actually a relatively low damage weapon with a high fire rate. I would like to give the ability for the higher tier CYTE-09s to fire more shots rather than fewer heavy shots. That's what the Vesper 77 is there for. I'm going to actually put in Recon Effects Rifle, Vesper 77 Pistol, just so someone reading it immediately has in their head what kind of weapon it's intended to look like and feel like. Yeah, doesn't take up too much in the way of characters to do that. It's not the Vector Cerebro? Correct, yeah. CYTE-09's signature weapon is not a sniper rifle. So, CYTE-09's Avoid Power. We are working with Seek. I'll figure out leveling and typing once I've designed it. This one's... Now, the way that Seek is cast, it's very much so an action. It is very much an action. Like that is a full body animation. You jump up, slam it into the ground, it sets up and does its thing. There's no way to consider that a bonus action. The problem is then, if you're spending a whole action doing that, and CYTE-09's attacks are all actions, we're basically saying he spends his entire turn casting Seek. And if he's going to spend a whole turn at the start of combat casting Seek, it needs to be a damn good one. It needs to be damn good. Now, I still want to include the cone aspect of it, because that's kind of signature design of how the ability works. So... I'm just going to have to make it powerful. There's no two roads about it. I'm just going to have to make it powerful. Curious how I've handled Exalteds. Pseudo-Exalteds definitely feel like they translate better. Exalteds have been handled. You'll see in the full document as and when it's done. Just to be clear, when I finish this entire project, it's going to be available freely to everyone. No limit, no restriction. You just download it and use it in your games, good to go. You won't be able to use it commercially. You won't be able to sell it to others. If you do any of that, I wouldn't even need to chase you for it. I would just pass the details to DE and their legal team would be after you because this uses Warframe IP. Do not do that. But yeah, for anyone who just wants to shove it into their games, job done. And they are designed to very much drop into pretty much any D&D setting. It is not using Dungeons & Dragons mechanics outright, but instead is compatible with them, so you can use it with both 2014 and 2024 edition perfectly fine. Any individual mechanics I've introduced are all explained in their own section at the end. The own appendix. Mirrorlave! Thank you for actually 5 gifted subs out to the community. That's going out to the Bobot, to Karimerv, to Alt4, to Veldrius Verdant, and to Dexpro. Mirrorlave, thank you very, very much for those gifted subs right there. Thank you very much. Let me get your tinsel. This is the last bit of this tinsel. I have no more shiny Christmas rainbow tinsel. And I have no idea. I'm just going to have to put it around the bottom. There's nowhere else left for it to go. There we are. Nope. Okay. Genuinely, there is nowhere left for that tinsel to go. It's just going to have to go there. There we are then. Okay. I have some ideas on CYTE-09. I'm going to voice these before I decide on what I'm going to implement, because this is... I've been stuck on this, I'll be quite honest. This is difficult. So one of the thoughts across in my mind is that Seek turns shots with advantage into guaranteed hits. So long as CYTE-09 has advantage to hit, if it rolls anything other than a crit, it's still a hit. Permanently. For anyone who is marked by the Seek sensor. That already kind of escalates the sheer power output, but it escalates in a way which is bringing up the low end rather than raising the top end. If CYTE-09 rolls a 19, CYTE-09 still rolled a 19. That doesn't change. But if CYTE-09 rolled a miss with advantage, then it changes that around. Synergize as well, depends on how powerful it is with the increased crit range. Yeah, so it's still spending an entire turn to get there. My only concern on that is that it opens up the frame to be almost at risk of metagame, that the DM will feel they should be trying to set it up to ambush the players with more. I suppose he is an ambush, so that's kind of what's supposed to happen. It's just... I don't know, it feels a risk, but maybe I'm just overthinking the risk. I'm basically saying, turn this guy into a guy that just hits, which reduces the amount of damage he needs to deal, because we're just saying, you're gonna take the damage. Joyce is saying, decided one of your D&D games will have an intelligent necromantic spider being patroned as a warlock by Necros. Hey, yeah, go for it, absolutely. There's Ambush Predator, may surprise you. Yeah. And you know what, yeah, I'm really sold on this idea, because if he doesn't get the surprise, doesn't get the drop, Seek loses a lot of value, and that's on CYTE-09. CYTE-09 failed to get the drop. If, however, CYTE-09 gets the drop, what is more devastating for a DM than setting up this ambush? The players fail their checks, the ambushing creature gets to make its attack, and fails twice on advantage. How much of an anti-climax is this Grand Sniper threat if you just then go, peep! Oh. Well, hi. So yeah, I think this actually works out. Would be funny at least. It's funny, but it's very anticlimactic. You can have that with so many other Warframes. To have it here with CYTE-09, it just completely undermines everything that CYTE-09 stands for. It's devastating to the mood of an encounter when the sniper assassin just fails. I think putting that behind a spell to make it where that fader is gone, and again, it's only on attacks with advantage. I think that nails it. I'm saying you saw how much people made fun of him for his accuracy in the mall, and there he's using a damn AK, not a sniper rifle. I mean, I didn't see that, but fair enough. Fair point. Yeah, I'm settled on that. So that's the big part of it. He gets the detection, he knows where people are, he gets to guarantee his hits, and then I'm thinking of still allowing the shots through cover, you know, the ultra punch through, but if CYTE-09 fires through cover like that, the target gains resistance to the shot. The shot is halved in damage. Because otherwise, with the way dungeon layouts can be, CYTE-09 could just pop it down and be like, bap, 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 bap. Oh, sorry, did I win? Aw. A little too bullshit. I don't want the players to feel like they're against bullshit. So I think that limiter there, certainly for low-level players, I think that limiter of halving the damage if CYTE-09 has to fire through cover to hit. But yeah, advantage to make it work, can fire through, can still fire through without the advantage, but now they've also no advantage and half the damage. That also balances out. Yeah. God, dear, you really gave me a toughie to build on this one. Alright, one action, range, so yeah, range 5 foot for where it pops it down in front of itself, and then we'll go for a 60-foot cone. Components, somatic, yeah, just somatic. It conjures it, so it's silent. And duration, how long do we want this to stand up for? 10 minutes. Sniper's got time to... No. Yeah, 10 minutes. Yeah, he's got time to set it up. If it's 1 minute, it'll run out a little too quick for my liking, and I like to keep things order of magnitude scaling. So you have 1 round, 1 minute, 10 minutes, 1 hour. Yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes is valid. CYTE-09 deploys a intangible. Do we make it undestroyable? No. CYTE-09 deploys a tiny scrying sensor in an unoccupied space within 5 feet, within range, because we've already dictated range. Yes, Jason, yes. So, on review of the original setup of having the void powers in the stat blocks, as much as it was single-page readable, it was intimidating as all hell for anyone who basically hadn't been there for the development of it. So instead, each section, the void powers are immediately after the frames. So like, if we go with Degath here, we've got Degath stat blocks, Degath's powers. Because they're linked to the individual frames, I can just put the powers on the next page. You're not flicking all the way through, and it means that the initiate even is a very small stat block comparatively. Yeah. Yes, it's, is it me or are the 1999 Horvania bounty drops bad? Got 100k ender just farming CYTE-09. If you mean as in bad to farm CYTE-09, it's not a quick farm whatsoever. You're very right on that. From my simulation, 87% of people would require purchasing a part from the Syndicate in order to speed up their farming time. And if you run up against the daily standing limit, there is a good chance that you might end up running extra missions in the same session without gaining standing, so without gaining pity, as it were. Just because you didn't want to give up and come back another day. It is a bit of a harsh farm in the time taken, compared to other ones, yeah. Alright, so CYTE-09 deploys a tiny scrying sensor in an occupied space within range. Creatures can enter this space without restriction. Just to be clear, whilst he's putting it into an unoccupied space, so he needs the space to put it down in the first place, it doesn't block the spot. Just that little bit of specificity. On cast, CYTE-09 directs the sensor to scry a cone continuously. All non-friendly creatures in the area are revealed. Revealed. I said revealed and I typed revealing. That's a good one. Are revealed to CYTE-09. Do invisible enemies get marked in Warframe? Do you want to allow invisibility to block this? Let's allow invisibility counterplay. Yeah. All non-friendly creatures in the area are revealed to CYTE-09 unless that creature is invisible. Or otherwise impossible to detect. Just to allow for generalized catch-all kind of DM says, yeah, you just can't detect that. There, cheers. Hey, thank you, Jason. You do usually have a share button pop up to share it, and then it gets the old animation stuff. I don't know if Twitch is going to want to show you that. It can be weird about that. You might need to refresh. I don't know. Anyway, all non-friendly creatures in the area are revealed to CYTE-09 unless that creature is invisible or otherwise impossible to detect. Oh, you didn't press it. Oh, fair enough then. This detection works through all walls and terrain. All walls, objects, and terrain, unless specifically barred from magical scrying. For the spell duration, just to specify on the detection, all non-friendly creatures in the area or who enter the area at any time are continuously revealed. There we are. Invisible? Did I misspell invisible? Yep, I did. God, can't you tell I went to bed late last night? Alright, how the hell did I even get my video done? There's going to be so many typos in that video, isn't there? That's concerning. Anyway, continuously revealed CYTE-09 unless that creature is invisible or otherwise impossible to detect. This detection works through all walls, objects, and terrain unless specifically barred from magical scrying. Cool. For the spell duration, CYTE-09 may make ranged attacks against revealed creatures through any amount of cover, including full cover, without penalty to hit. If CYTE-09 uses this feature, the damage of the attack on hit is halved. Just straight up halved. If CYTE-09 has advantage to hit a revealed creature, with a ranged, capitalized because it's special wording, ranged attack. Any miss is converted into a non-critical hit. Specify non-criticals, the crit range can't overlap in a weird situation. Okay, so just to recap on that. CYTE-09 deploys a tiny scrying sensor in an unoccupied space within range. We've defined the size of it, we've defined the location. Creatures can enter this space without restriction, simple catching to avoid people going, oh, does it block me? On cast, CYTE-09? What the CYTE-09 directs the sensor to scry a cone continuously. I think I've used the word continuously twice now. Oh dear. All non-friendly creatures in the area, or who enter the area at any time, are revealed to CYTE-09 for the duration, unless that creature is invisible or otherwise impossible to detect. This detection works through all walls, objects, and terrain, unless specifically barred from magical scrying. Very much not, Flo. Very much not. For the spell duration, CYTE-09 may make ranged attacks against revealed creatures through any amount of cover, including full cover, without penalty to hit. If CYTE-09 uses this feature, the damage of the attack on hit is halved. I'm just gonna put the note to make this very, very, very clear. This includes firing through physically impassable barriers. Just so anyone reading it doesn't get confused. They don't go, oh, well, maybe he can't fire through walls. No, he can fire through a fucking wall, okay? He activates it. If it doesn't stop scrying, he can see ya and he can shoot ya. Deal with it. I want to make it very, very, very clear to the reader who doesn't know what a CYTE-09 is. If CYTE-09 uses this feature, the damage of the attack on hit is halved. Yeah. He goes through that? He goes through that, yes. You would need something that blocks scrying to prevent him from being able to see, because he can only attack revealed creatures this way. If the creature isn't revealed, he can't scry you to shoot you. If CYTE-09 has an advantage to hit a revealed creature with a ranged attack, any miss is converted into a non-critical hit. And yes, that includes a 1, because a 1 is an automatic miss, we're turning a miss into a non-critical hit. Get screwed, it hits. But you still need to roll to see if you get a crit. I think that in itself is sufficient. I don't need to do anything else with it. This isn't a damage boosting one. It's a consistency boosting one for damage purposes, but it's not a damage boosting one outright. He needs advantage if he wants a consistency. It's about control. It's about ambush. It's setting something up. And it has counterplay in that it's a scrying thing. You deal with scrying, you deal with the ability. So I think that covers that. Overall, it's an effective ability, but it's not like absurdly effective. For starters, it's only a 60-foot code, so it's not like he's seeing through a very, very large area. A 60-foot code wouldn't get through many residential buildings. So at that, I'm going to make this one considered a second level Void Divination. Divination because it's scrying. Yeah. I've not specified any hit points for the sensor. I don't need to make it specifically destructible. That is up to DM to decide, because I've also not made it specifically indestructible. Yeah. I think this is one of the few instances where range matches perfectly to the game. Oh, does it? Have I accidentally done that? CYTE-09, ability. Ability range is... No, Zom, no. No, not even close. The base range of Seek in Warframe is 60 meters. Not 60 feet. You've been caught out by units. Okay, so let's have a look at how CYTE-09 plays out in a idealized situation. First of all, CYTE-09 sets up the ambush, uses the action silently. Bam. That's now down. Turn 2 and 3, CYTE-09 gets to attack with the, let's say, the Reconifex rifle, because CYTE-09 is still hidden. Sorry, CYTE-09 is still out of sight, so attacking from unseen, therefore advantage. We're going to guarantee the hits, but CYTE-09 is firing through walls, so gets half damage. So we got... that effectively cancels itself out. Do the players know if they're marked by Seek? No. So nothing about a spell is detectable unless it indicates it should be detectable. A scrying sensor doesn't say players are aware of it, so by default they're not aware of it. That is the default nature of things. The casting components of a spell, that suggests what kind of actual noticeability a spell will typically have. It's like somatic, you can see the person waving their hands or doing something physical. Verbal, you can hear them casting it, but there is no verbal on this one. So if Quincy, sorry, not Quincy, if Sight is out of sight and just plops down this scrying sensor, the players are none the wiser. Get ambushed. They have to figure that out themselves. Is this latex? I don't know what latex is in this context, sorry. This is Patrick. The damage is still lacking. The damage is still lacking. So, yeah, I am going to increase the recon effects up to 1d8 as per the early person's suggestion. Having put in the ability, there's simply just not enough power behind it. As a result, I think I also want to increase the Vesper's damage, because that's just 12 damage output, 12.5. Given all the circumstances, isn't enough as well. So what I can do is I can make that... I want 12 to 6 average. If I go for 2d8, that becomes to 9 average. That's heavy hitting, but it's kind of what I want. That's 9, 10, 11, 12, plus potential 3 extra. The potential 3 extra doesn't feel as much now, but it's fine. Doesn't need to be overwhelming. The average damage output of this frame isn't that great, but when you take into account the consistency it can achieve, then it becomes nasty. Because this is a frame that can start hurting a lot sooner than players are usually ready for. When is Road to Dante? When is the next Zero to Hero episode, do you mean? That'll be coming out after Christmas. That'll be coming out after Christmas, because I'm going to be on Christmas break next week. I'm literally going to be going to see my family for Christmas. I haven't seen them in months, so it'd be nice to go see them. Do I stream those? Not usually, no. I've streamed Dan's run through twice, but usually no. At the moment, it's still got some major quest beats to get through, so I stream when it's suitable for that, but not as a general thing, no. Usually we stream my main account on Warframe, that's Wednesdays and Sundays. Okay, I think CYTE-09's Initiate is set up. I just need to put in Seek is... Now, do I keep Seek as 2 short rest? Yeah, why not? Still a slow thing to cast. CYTE-09 cast. Zeke has a 2nd level spell. Cool. Cool. Thank you, Jethic. Much appreciated. And I hope you have yourself a wonderful Christmas as well, as and when that rolls around. Okie dokie. CYTE-09 Initiate is complete. Let's work on the Adept. So the Adept steps up the level significantly. We jump up from Challenge 4 to Challenge 9. The proficiency bonus doubles at this point. A lot of things are going to go crazy. When you gonna upload video about all new arcanes? When I get around to it, if I get around to it. It depends on what there is to cover versus all the other features in the game. I do intend to cover at least some of them. I don't know if I'll cover all of them in full depth. It really depends on what stands out the most. The last thing I want to do is have a video that goes out and says, hey, here's this arcane. I don't really care for it. Thanks for watching. So yeah, depends on what needs talking about. Right, let's have a look at the stat sheet. So, Banshee Adept, which has been our basis so far, has been using Strength 12, Dexterity, I'm going to highlight the line so I don't lose it each time. Dexterity 18 for +4, Constitution was a 12 for +1. The Intelligence was an 18 for a +4. Wisdom was a 16 for a +3. And Charisma on Banshee went to 9. I'm actually going to take CYTE-09 to 10. Haha, Defax, slightly 1 point higher. Yep. 1 point higher. Just, again, kind of Quincy stuff. Oh yeah, Warframe has a lot of content that's come out, and it is impossible for me to keep up with all of it. But that's a good thing, because it means there's not too little space for creators, as it were. There's many, many creators, and we got many, many things to cover, and you as players have got many, many things to enjoy. It's a great thing. I'm not even going to touch onto the whole, let's say, interactions with the proto-frames through the instant messenger. I'm simply not going to touch that at all on the YouTube channel, because that is definitely going to be far better covered by other people, far more invested into the lore, and quite frankly, far less unsettled by some of the interactions. That is better for a different channel. Pink likes? Yeah, sure. Pink likes it is. Okay, so we've got the base stats translated over. The hit points, let's have a look. So con evaluation, a con 12 character of this type should be having 110 to 115 hit points. I'm going to aim for 110. And that comes out to 20d8 plus 20. The information I have. Is CYTE-09 particularly fast? I didn't think CYTE-09 had a high speed. Let me just check. Sprint speed 1.1. It is a little on the higher side. You know what? Let's give them just a little bit of extra movement to this level. Yeah. How hard has it been translating Warframe mechanics of D&D? Not simple. Doshes, how familiar are you with Dungeons and Dragons? How familiar? Let's see, the perception is 3 plus 4, so that's 7 now. Stealth is, again, another point higher, so that's 8. You have no knowledge whatsoever. Okay, so to give you a very, very quick rundown, in Dungeons & Dragons, everyone takes turns one by one. You go around in what's called a round. The turn order is decided by dice, but that doesn't matter right now. On a person's turn, they can move, they can take an action, they can take a bonus action. At some point during the round, something might trigger them to be able to take a reaction. And that's it. That's what you get. 4 things. Moving, big action, small action, maybe a reaction. Maybe. As it so comes to bear, those actions then are a bit limited, and combat can wrap up anywhere between 3 and 6 rounds, is a typical combat. A break in the middle of the explanation. Well, you got a prime and you used it on the wrong channel, didn't you? Whose fault is that one? I'll wait for you. I'll do some numbers whilst you sit through your ad. Alright, let's bring up the armor class a little bit here. Let's see, what did I give Banshee at this tier? Banshee got 15 AC. Okay, yeah, I'm happy to do the same here as well. Doesn't need to be that much weaker than Banshee. Actually, I don't want it to be weaker than Banshee at all. It's kind of crazy that CYTE is. Vertical is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 foot. Horizontal 24. You back now, Doshes? You're back now. You're back. Okay, cool. So, characters, and this includes monsters, they have maybe an action, bonus action, movement, and possibly a reaction. That's the exact maximum of it, barring super legendary creatures, with maybe a couple of legendary actions in between turns. That's not a lot of action economy. That's not a lot of time to do a lot of things. So with that in mind, think then of how much mechanical fuckery I had to do to make it where Dante still feels like Dante. To be casting enough different light and dark things so as to enable the reasonable selection between light and dark to either go light, 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 dark, or dark, dark on final verse. Think of the amount of stretching to fit things in that requires. And I did it. That one is my absolute favourite production. You think you made that stream? Hey, fair enough. I playtested that Prime, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But designing it was really testing my ability to convert. And I'd like to say I got there. I'd like to say I got there. 4, 8, 16, there we go. Will I continue updating this and use Warframe come out? That remains to be seen based on the reception of the project, basically. If it goes out to like 20 people and they go, hey, this is great, and then I hear nothing again, I will know what to spend my time not on. If instead, the next thing you know is even D themselves like, oh my god, how did we not pay more attention to this, blah 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 blah, just news everywhere, then who knows what could come of it. So it really depends on the reception, anywhere in between those two extremes. It really depends on that. Let's face it, would you want to spend time producing more of a thing where like maybe a dozen people went, hey, that's great? Well, I mean, that depends on personal scale, I suppose. That's not really a good question. You get where I'm coming from, considering the amount of time I put into it. Fair enough, Jason, fair enough. You'll definitely want to have the updated sheet. All the updated numbers and features, yeah. Doshes? No, actually. No. I managed to make it much more within the normal game mechanics than that. I dare say impressively so. Toot to my own horn a little bit, but, you know, I think it's well deserved, given how I managed to make it work. I'm just doing the old level up number changes here first. Bear with. And then that increases to that. There we go. The players already went up against Excalibur, gained a Nothic as a companion. All the players play Warframe and no one noticed similarity yet. Oh, I see. Well, I mean, you did use Excalibur. You did use Excalibur. If I see an Excalibur outside of the context of Warframe, you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a dude with a magic sword. How am I supposed to know that's Warframe? Oh, the sword glows? Yeah, welcome to magic. Oh, the guy can run really fast with a sword? Yeah, welcome to using magic. You don't even need magic for that one, he's just really good with a sword. Excalibur is so vanilla. If he was a spice, he wouldn't even be flower. He wishes he could be plain flower. He can't stand up to Flower. Flower's got texture. As far as spice goes, Excalibur is water. So yeah, I'm not surprised your players didn't pick up on that. Now, if you threw a Corvex at them, oh man, I really enjoyed the playtest using Corvex. Oh. They just came back for the Pharaoh. You could have used Titania. My guy, you... you... What a fumble. You could have used Titania, you could have used Wisp. God, you could have used so many different things for that. And you used Excalibur. You hurt me. Yeah, Oberon. Sorry, even I forgot about Oberon. I'll be honest. Didn't even cross my mind. Didn't even cross my mind. Poor Oberon. He sucks. I will not be taking comments. Alright, CYTE-09 is AC 15 with Dex 4, so that needs some armor, leather armor. Boom, there we go, that explains those stats. Okay, I think all of the stat buffs have been done, so now it's about the spell. Now it's about the spell. So, let's get the template of just the statage. Okay, but we are on to resupply. Now, this one is a weird one because we don't really have normal ammo mechanics. But I can make the damage spicy. I can make the damage spicy. And what I'm thinking with this, you know how resupply, well, you might not, it's a new Warframe, but resupply in a Warframe, it gives a bonus damage. It gives a refill of ammo. Those two things are just easy to translate. It's just damage and ammo. Fine. But it also has an increase in the increased damage for snipers. Now, in a D&D sense, snipers don't really exist. So that's kind of a problem already. But instead, I can do something far more broad-scoped and therefore more simply applicable. If the attack is made at 100 feet or more, then it gets the bonus. If you're firing an attack at 100 feet or more distance, it is now sniper distance for the consideration of this. I know sniping as far as to 30 odd meters is not very snipey. It's not that far. But in terms of D&D combat ranges, 100 feet is a pretty far distance. It's far enough that it will come up, but it's not so far as... Sorry, it's not so far as that it won't come up, but it's not too close as to be always on. It allows the players to get under it. If they've studied the frame, if they know about this feature, they know, don't stand far back, we can take more damage. It allows CYTE-09 to really punish the party if they focus on, say, a tank up front. CYTE-09 can back up and really rain down the fire. And this then also keys in to Seek, which I will probably need to allow to give extended range to with high level casting. Gotta bear that in mind. So that you can use that. So yeah. That's the direction I'm going to go. That's the quirk that brings it from just a bit of damage to, oh shit, that's CYTE-09's ability. I can see that now, kind of deal. Yeah. Is there any use for the new magnetic impact mod? It's a bit of a weird one. I'll be honest. I mean, aside from, hey, more status effects, great. Magnetic to impact is basically going to make it where it's easier to kill Xmas units. Because the magnetic churns through their overguard. Magnetic procs mean they take more damage on overguard. And impact raises the mercy threshold. So it is very much an anti-Xmas mod. Whether or not that's right for your build, considering it's an entire mod slot to do that, hard to say. Hard to say, to be quite honest with you. I imagine it's going to be best on weapons which do a lot of status output, because then you get a lot of impact output, and that should basically bring you to mercy threshold as quickly as physically possible. Is a theory. Yeah. Alright, resupply. So this one, I'm going to make one bonus action, because it's a very quick to cast thing. Range is going to be... I'll come back to range, depending on how I describe this. And then duration is going to be instantaneous. Basically, once it's cast, the effect is there. It just is. I think, wait, no... No, let's give this a time. Because in Warframe, it's a single magazine. But then you can pick up additional packs and whatnot. I feel like putting down the packs and creating things to track and walk across is perhaps trying too much to keep the identity of resupply. Whereas I want to have more of the mechanics of resupply. So I'm going to give this a timed feature instead. Apply a buff to CYTE-09 and nearby allies for the duration. Skip the whole packs on the ground thing. 5 rounds? 1 minute, which will be 10 rounds. I'm not doing things in anything less than order of magnitude, so it's 1 round, 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour. I keep duration simple in that regard, because otherwise you start tracking all kinds of bonkers stuff. Yeah, I think losing the identity of the ammo packs on the ground is worth it for keeping the battlefield simpler. When otherwise that can get quite a lot to track very quickly, especially when it comes to then, are we tracking magazines, or are we tracking how many arrows are affected? Fun fact, by the way, in Warframe, all of your arrows are affected on a bow. Unless it's an Atrook, in which case it's none of them. But yeah, on the, say, the Paris, if you use the non-incarnate mode and you get the bonus from resupply, it's permanent. You can just keep firing and just keep having that bonus on every single arrow forever. If you pick up ammo packs from enemies, it doesn't count as reloading, so it just keeps going. It only vanishes if you run out of ammo or pick up a different ammo pack from CYTE-09. You've seen it work on the Nathrook? It didn't work on the Nathrook for me, so... Your mileage may vary, Zom. Welcome to bugs. It literally did not work for me, and I put that in the video. The demonstration clip is there. I'll let DE come out and say which one of our experiences was a bug. That's why Epitaph Prime had it forever? Yeah, Epitaph Prime also draws from ammo pool directly, so it doesn't have a reload, so it just keeps firing. But weapons which only have a magazine rather than only have an ammo pool, like the Fulmin, never gets the bonus because they don't have the ammo pool to draw from, to reload from. It's well, Zom's exploding. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to skip the whole ammo pack thing to make this more mechanically accessible for gameplay. Does one Incarnate get the buff? Correct, yeah. Yeah, you can't reload into an Incarnate, you transform into it. Even though it's a kind of reload, it isn't. And then, when you reload out of that, you're ending it. So you could just never go into it. You just can't. Okay, so yeah. CYTE-09 empowers the ranged attacks ranged weapons of itself and its allies within range. I can make it last a number of attacks around the duration too. See, as much as I could make it last a number of attacks, my concern with that is the tracking of it on a per character basis. I'm talking from experience of running encounters and the number of things you already have to track as a DM. You then give however many creatures this extra thing to track. Do they get this damage bonus? Don't they get this damage bonus? When does it run out? On top of as well, oh god, yeah, the damage bonus is doubled because it's 100 feet or more. What damage type did I pick again? What was the critical range? One of my aims on designing these is to reduce unnecessary mechanical adherence to Warframe. I want it to be Warframe themed, but Dungeons & Dragons, rather than Dungeons & Dragons themed, but Warframe. That's my priority. So it's like how on Dante, his final verse only has 3 options, not 4. I took out one of the options because, frankly, he was asking for me to try and change too much out of D&D into Warframe to make it exist. That kind of thing. Anyway, actually, how's my week? It's been alright. It's been alright. We got the video out just recently with the guide to CYTE-09, and now we are adding CYTE-09 to this as well. So yeah, I'm going to keep this simpler, so 1 minute. CYTE-09 empowers the ranged weapons of itself and its allies within range. While the spell... sorry. On cast, CYTE-09 chooses a damage type from... let's go through... I'm just going to put down the damage types and then I'll sort them alphabetically. I forget them. Heat, fire, cold, lightning, toxin is poison. Gotta translate it. And then we got the combined stuff. We got acid is corrosive. Gas doesn't really have a translation, it's just more poison. Magnetic would be force. I don't want to include force. Radiation would be radiant. We can include that. Viral is necrotic. We can include that. Blast is thunder. That's fine to include. Yeah. Fire, cold, lightning, poison, acid, radiant, necrotic, thunder. Yeah, we'll include those ones. Now let's sort these alphabetically. So, acid, followed by cold, EF, then it's fire. Let's take the acid one out here, because that's now done. L, M, N, necrotic, goes here. O, P, Q, R, T. There we are. So, CYTE-09 chooses a damage type from acid, cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, poison, radiant, or thunder. For the duration, when an affected creature hits with a ranged weapon attack, the target takes an additional... let's be careful on this. Let's say, let's tie it to... the target takes additional damage of the chosen type equal to CYTE-09's spell casting modifier, which in this case is intelligence, because all Warframes have it as intelligence, and that is going to be a +4 at this level. Should come out balanced. We'll see. I'll run the numbers in a moment. So for the duration, when an affected creature hits with a ranged weapon attack, the target takes additional damage of the chosen type equal to CYTE-09's spellcasting modifier. There we go. In addition... yes, Ductile, I still believe I can get this finished by the end of the year. So I intend to be doing some work on it tomorrow, in terms of the final checkovers and putting smaller graphics where they need to be. And then I should have some time after Christmas as well to do the final run through, go over as much as I can, and then have a proper place to host and release it. We are really that close to the end. We are really that close. In addition, any weapons or ammunition fired by this attack, these attacks, returns to the creature after the attack resolves. So I'm kind of doing the opposite of refilling the ammo on cast to instead having a continuous ammo return effect, which incidentally becomes less important for monsters, but it's still thematically interesting. It's still thematically interesting. Where it's particularly valuable is if someone makes a ranged weapon attack with, say, a javelin. They lob the javelin hits, and then zhup, the javelin's back. So it's that kind of interaction with other Warframe setups where then CYTE-09 becomes even more powerful and noticeable. Well, hell, it doesn't even have to be other Warframes, just other creatures using a javelin or spear or trident, that kind of approach. They get that returning magic and the damage bonus. So I think that ties into it there. Also, I needed to add in the notes. Let's move the in addition down. If the attack is made at a distance of 100 feet or more, the additional damage doubles. Or is doubled, should say, yeah. Okay, so CYTE-09 empowers the ranged weapons of itself and its allies within range. On cast, CYTE-09 chooses a damage type from acid, cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, poison, radiant, or thunder. For the duration, when an affected creature hits with a ranged weapon attack, the target takes additional damage of the chosen type equal to CYTE-09's spellcasting modifier. If the attack is made at a distance of 100 feet or more, the additional damage is doubled. In addition, any weapons or ammunition fired... any weapons thrown... So any weapons thrown or ammunition fired by these attacks returns to the creature after the attack resolves. Simple as that. That's resupply, right? That feels like it captures the essence of it. So let's just check on balancing. Range, I'm going to rate the range on this one relatively small. But I'm just going to make the range 20 feet. It's not tiny, but 20 feet does not go very far. That's like... That's not even 7 meters, is it? 20 feet in meters. Yeah, it's 6 meters. Yeah. So a 6 meter of range, that's about as far as CYTE-09 throws those ammo packs if you're trying to get some distance on them. So that feels about right. 20 feet. It's bonus action, it's merely somatic. There's no vocal component needed, which again keys into the stealth aspect. So that is all good. So yeah, I think I'm going to give him somatic on just all of the spellcasting. CYTE-09 doesn't need to make noise. The noise will be from the cries of those he sniped. Okay. So this is going to be a evocation, the level of which I will figure out in a moment. But it's definitely an evocation. We are adding energy to our attacks. That's just evocation. Right, so I've given CYTE-09 straight up at the moment, multi-tack for 8.5, 3 times over, that's 25.5 damage per round, default with Reconifex Rifle. I think the damage per round is supposed to be 45, but then CYTE-09 can also make it where CYTE-09 has guaranteed hits. But those guaranteed hits are offset against a reduction in the damage if firing through cover for those guaranteed hits. Needs to land the advantage to even begin to do that kind of thing. But when we add in this extra damage as well, how strong does this get? If CYTE-09 attacks with the Recon effects, without advantage, so without Seek doing stuff. Just normal attacks with them. 8 plus... Yeah, 8 plus 4, so that's now 12.5 per hit. 37.5. That's within scope, so that's fine. That's low, actually. But if we add in resupply in a more Seek-filled environment, then it can go higher, but it still requires casting Seek first. Yeah. Again, it leans towards, if he's in an ambush as the ambusher, CYTE-09 gets power. If CYTE-09 is caught off guard, CYTE-09 is weak. And still remembering CYTE-09 is below average AC and hit points. I think this works. Yeah, I think this works. Cool. Solo. Just remember, gotta remember this also buffs up allies. Let's say CYTE-09 has 2 allies with him. Those 2 allies can each make 2 attacks. That increases CYTE-09's theoretical damage output as a result of empowering his allies by 4, 8, 16 damage per round. Then it becomes a lot. And even more if it were 100 feet. A glass cannon? It sounds like too much of a glass cannon. I don't know. CYTE-09 being caught off guard sounds like a problem until he gets access to evade. Evade will definitely swing things in CYTE-09's favor hugely, and that's also to account for in a design of resupply here. The counter to that, though, is that at that level, players are going to have access to things like Sea Invisibility. Or straight up counterspell, even. But no, this does feel like the damage has too much of a potential for scaling, but I still want this doubling on the range. I think what I can do, this is what I can do. The damage bonus, I can make it where it only applies once per turn. So, a creature can only apply this bonus damage once per turn. Will be the phrasing. That way then, CYTE-09, if CYTE-09 is empowered to never miss, sure, you get it the first time, guaranteed, but second and third aren't going to apply. If CYTE-09 applies it to allies, each making 2 attacks, on average only one of those attacks will land, they still get effectively the full average power, but they can't spike if they land both hits. That should work. That should bring it down just enough, like capping the highs without hitting too much the lows. Have I given any of the different versions legendary resistances? Oh, almost all of them. I just haven't applied it to this stat block yet. I give them all a kind of legendary resistance. Orokin Resolve. It's my own creation, but it's basically a type of legendary resistance. You'll see it in a sec. A creature may only apply the additional damage once per turn. Each creature. There we are. Each creature may only apply the additional damage once per turn. Job done. That scales that back down a bit. Okay. Scrolling down to DeGaff's stat block here, I'm just going to copy up Orokin Resolve. This goes in... Where do I put that? I put that just after the bullet jump. Oops, wrong one. There we go. When CYTE-09 fails a saving throw, it may choose to instead succeed. Once it's used this feature, it may not do so again until it completes a short or long rest. For the Masters, that is the third tier of Warframe, they can use it twice per rest, and for the Primes, they can use it 3 times per rest. So it's got a scaling up. It's on first hit Umbrella, so on the description, for the duration, when an affected creature hits with a ranged weapon attack, the target takes additional damage of the chosen type. It doesn't say they may take, it's just it takes. And then each creature may only apply the additional damage once per turn. It's not the creature applies it once per turn, because that would imply you're always going to land it every turn or something like silly like that. It's saying, sure, you may apply it, you may miss. But if you've applied it, you can't apply it again. You may not apply it again. That's where the may comes in. Yeah. Just because the word may is present doesn't necessarily mean that it's a given. I could switch that for the word can, so each creature can only apply the damage once per turn. I suppose that is also grammatically and mechanically correct. Yeah, let's switch it to that, because it's the same functional output. Avoid confusion. You've had the confusion, I fixed the confusion. Each creature can only apply the additional damage once per turn. There we are. Okay, I am missing the extra skill, because a Adept will usually come with an additional skill. What would be a good one for CYTE-09 Adept? I'm thinking Persuasion. Quincy does try to be a very persuasive character, and we want to have that little bit of personality to bleed through, because Drifter confirms personality of Warframe's original human does bleed through. So Persuasion is now a +4 to go alongside the Stealth and Perception, and then saving throws, which get added where, please? Did I not give saving throws to the Gath Adept? Oops, that's a bug. Okay, well, I'll fix 2 things in one. First of all, let's quickly do that. Why did I not add a saving throw to Gath Adept? Quick little bug fix. Let's add it to the con. There we go. And now let's continue actually dealing with CYTE. So, saving throw, CYTE-09. The next FF2 comic came out. FF2. Sorry, Sam, not familiar. Oh, TF2. A TF2 comic came out?
8 whole years. Almost enough time for a person to be born.
Yum. Thank you for the 8-month resub. 8 months? I have not been streaming for 8 years. Much appreciated there, Yum. Hope you're doing well. Cheers for that. I'm going to pop your bauble onto the tree whilst you contemplate your existence. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Tom. Run that by me again. Did you say we have a new TF2 comic? Guillaume, you are going on this branch right here. Yep. I think you might not have seen that on the tree because the camera placement, but yeah, you're on the tree. Guillaume, you're fine, you're fine. You're what, only like 20-ish months old? You're fine. As I say, okay, I don't feel bad interrupting if that was a reaction. Understandable, good to know. Oh, that's the thing. We've been waiting for the last TF2 comic for a while. It's been a very, very long time, so I am very surprised there's a new TF2 comic. I thought that was just they gave up. Valve, you continue to be very weird. Very, very weird. Anywho, right, saving throw for CYTE-09. What would CYTE-09 saving throw be? I think Wisdom is the right pick here. Wisdom, just something about it feels like the right pick for CYTE-09. I'm gonna go Wisdom saving throw is a +7. So we have the proficiency. There we go. And then we need to add down here bonus actions. We have resupply, 1 per short rest. CYTE-09 cast resupply as a... I haven't figured out the level of it yet. I think let's go 4th level. 4th level spell. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a 4th level void evocation. Boom. Okay. I start blocking it a little on the long side. That's fine. It's a perception skill? It is, yeah. But Wisdom saving throw is more about mental barriers and resolve against those that would try to control your senses and control your awareness of the world. So it is very much a resistance of control. Those who would force you with, say, a hold person because you've lost control, you believe yourself unable to move. Those who would you with not illusions. Illusions should fall under int, which is kind of weird. Because you'd think illusions would be about your observational skills, but it's not. It's your analysis skills, I guess. And then charisma, that is your sense of self in the metaphysical. It is the resistance to possession, is the resistance to being forced out of your plane of existence. And I don't feel like the sniper's going to be picking up a saving throw in strength, dex, or con just now. Not yet. But yeah, this definitely gives us where we're at on that one. So that's CYTE-09 Adept complete. Well, let us move on. We're making CYTE-09 Master. And if you do see a bit that I've missed anywhere throughout this, do let me know. I am bound to miss some detail at some point, but yeah. Wait, forced out of your plane of existence? Plane is in P-L-A-N-E, but yes. If something would try to banish you to a different plane of existence, your resistance to that would be your charisma saving throw. And likewise, if something like a ghost was trying to possess you, that is an extra planar threat in itself, trying to override your very ego. And so that is also a charisma saving throw. Plane of existence is just mundane existence? Yeah. Plane of existence. I went to the shop. Alright, let's see. Stats again to rank up. So this is now 14 strength. Dex climbs to... Now, Banshee climbs to Dex 19 in 20. I'm going to do that the other way around for CYTE-09. So I'm going to go Dex 20 into 19. This is where we're going to deviate from the Banshee template. The Wisdom climbs up to 18. That's now +4. And the Charisma, Banshees climbs to 11. CYTE's going to climb to 12. There we go. That's where we're going to make that little bit of a deviation from the Banshee setup. With Con now at 14. Standard fare for this would be 175 hit points, which is 27 d8 plus 54. Armor class, Banshee at this tier now has a 16. I'm going to match that for CYTE-09. It's still normal level of armor. All good. Saving throws, we got the Wisdom, which will increase with level, because we're at level 14 for this creature. With this XP and this proficiency bonus, the wisdom is now going to be a +9. Just, it's always a bit of moving up to a new series, just updating all the stat numbers. I don't think I even did anything interesting with the Vesper. I need to go back to that. I need to go back to the Vesper on the Adept in a second. Because this wants to master block. Let's go with... Well, I've leveled up the Dex more than the Ints. Let's go with Dex. Okay, that's 2 strong saving throws in a row. How many lacks AC and lacks hit points? Strong saving throws are fine. Dex it is. Deal with it. Okay, Perception is now at a 9. Persuasion is now at a 6. Stealth is now at a 10. I didn't update the passive perception earlier. I said I was going to miss bits. And what other skill can Quincy have? That's an option, Ellie. That's an option. I've already got a mechanic built into the weapon, however, where if it beats the target's AC by 5 or more, the attack deals extra damage. It's already got a quirk built into it. What skill do I want to give to CYTE-09 Master? They've got Persuasion, they've got Perception, they've got Stealth. What's going to be their next one? I'm trying to think what the Quincy characters like to try and tie it more to that. This is where I can have the elements of Quincy come through. Survival? Athletics? Athletics to reach the sniper spots. Athletics isn't required to reach places, as if things get difficult to get there. Insight into a target? I suppose Quincy does try to at least claim to demonstrate insight. That's genuinely a toughie. This one's genuinely a toughie. You asked me to straws? I am a bit. I can't come up with anything that really leaps out as the correct answer, so the best answer is to go with the one that's just of most interest. So, you know what, sod it. Jason, you've not led me astray much. Well, you have not really led me astray on any of this, so you know what? Athletics. We'll give them athletics, so that brings them up to a +6. There you are. That's your contribution. It's in there. I mean, your math has been a little bit questionable at times, Jason. Your math has been questionable at times. That's all I'll say on that. But you know, I'm not wrong. Anyway. CYTE-09's bullet jump distance has now increased. We have a strength of +2. I didn't even update that number. Oops. Have I put in the athletics incorrectly as a result? Yes, I have. There we go. Oops. Speaking of math going wrong. So, 2 + 3 is 5, doubled is 10. There we go. And the horizontal is now 28. Bam. Yeah, the proto-frame dossier is just like, he likes to shoot things. I got that. What about the rest of the character? He likes to flirt. Yeah. Let me just add the flirtatious skill. We've already got persuasion in there. Oh, dear. Okay, Auric Resolve, it may let's just use this feature twice, because masters get 2 use of it. Practiced aim doesn't need to change. Void power, spell save DC is now 4 + 5 is 9 + 8, 17. There we go. Can give him more charisma since flirty. I've already done that. He has more charisma than Banshee, which I've used as the template here. Already got that one covered. Deception? Okay, whoa. Character assassination now, I was read. He's flirtatious, not deceptive. Mean much? Let's add in these damage values. I'm still going to return to the Vesper, so I'll do that one properly in a moment. Dagger is a plus 10 to hit, but it's still a dagger. It's not going to do anything amazing. It's really a backup. I was thinking of increasing the range of Seeker high levels. I'll get back to that as well. Let's go back and fix this adept first. So I didn't sort out the passive perception. That's supposed to be 17. There we go. And there was something else I didn't do on this, wasn't there? Vesper. So Vesper's supposed to be single shot heavy power. Currently its heavy power is 17 versus Recon effects in 3 attacks doing 8, 8, 8. 8.5. So that's 25.5 versus 17.5. No, just 17. I could add another D8. That would bring it up to... Let me see here. 17.5, 21.5. Yeah, let's add another D8. So 3d8 plus 4. This becomes, let's say, 17 average damage. That adds that just extra little bit of oomph to the Vesper. And so I think for the Vesper 77 pistol down here, I'm going to make it 48. So this is now 9, 18, 19, 20, 22. Plus the additional 4 damage. Yeah. Still only so good, but it's good. Yeah. Welcome in, Vanitas. It's going alright here. We are continuing to expand the document. Let's also increase the range of Seek. So saying about doing that. So how do I usually type that out at high levels like this? Come back to this. Oops. At higher levels, when Seek is cast using a spell slot above second, for each level above second, the cone length increases by 30 feet. There we go. What I can do is have it where the Adept casts it at level 3, so it goes out to 90 feet, which is still not enough to allow Resupply's 100-foot double damage to kick in. But then when we get to the Master, I'll allow it to be cast at 4th level, so now we have 120 feet of range, and so there is that thin edge of the cone where it reaches that double damage bonus. A little bit of kind of what's that? Synergy balancing right there. So Seek cast as a 3rd level spell on this one. And down here we'll take it further. Cool. Alright then. That is, I think, all of those stats updated for now. Very much so, Jason, yeah. I imagine someone to be behind 2 different walls. They go, yes! Okay, I can cast the buff spell here. I can keep concentration on haste because CYTE-09 can't even see me. And DM says, okay, cool. Can you make a Constitution saving throw? You haven't even rolled the attack yet! Don't need to. It hits. Constitution saving throw for, ooh. DC 17. You took 34 damage. And the player just starts absolutely panicking. And right, they should. I doubt they'd actually take 34 damage in such a situation because of the halving for going through cover, but you get what I'm saying. Or just use recon effects, 3 different attacks. That's con save, con save, con save. Oh yeah, that's just occurred to me. Oh god. Oh god. Guaranteed hit with 3 attack recon effects. I've just basically made a better magic missile. Oops. Oh well. Oops. Get good. Oh dear. Did someone say magic missile doesn't need line of sight? Well, technically. Yeah. Yeah. That's brutal. That feels like a Warframe right there. That's the description that says, okay, we're actually in a bit of trouble. This dude can cast magic missile effectively through walls. Fuck. Yeah. That's the description I need. There we are. Okay. Jason saying magic missile gets blocked by things by like shield, but doesn't require a save. This says F your cover requires a save. I mean, when you say requires a save for the concentration check because there's no save against just being shot. If CYTE-09 uses Seek and chooses to take the bypass cover feature, he hits. It's not a choice, he hits. If he would have missed, he hits. Oh boy. Oh boy. Right then. I like how this is coming together. I like how it's coming together. It doesn't need to be particularly strong in the damage output because it's still going to be terrifying. May I ask what gave you the idea for Warframe D&D? Just out of curiosity, if you don't mind me asking. I love how, like... Sorry, I know this is not what you're asking, but I just want to point out that about 3/4 of your message is trying to give yourself permission to ask the question. What gave me the idea for Warframe D&D? I like D&D, I like Warframe. And I see that Warframes have discrete usable abilities, which are, for all intents and purposes, spells that they cast. And I figured I could turn that into monsters. Let's allow the players to deal with the same fear that we can barely begin to appreciate that the Corpus of Grineer have when facing us. That's basically the inspiration. I played enough D&D, certainly as a DM, and I saw an opportunity to really dig into a project that I knew was going to be big, but I did not realize just how big it was going to be, and how much time it's taken to design all this. Yeah. Alright, we're up onto Evade. So, I think just get straight into the spell on this one. There we go. Evade. This is going to be avoid illusion because it's invisibility, so it's just illusory. Bonus action, range, self, somatic. Now duration. This is one of those rare cases where I'm going to break the mold on simple durations. That's where I'm going to break the mold. 59 frames, I was read. And not only that, it's 59 frames plus 2 reworks, so it's 61 frames. Kind of. And they're all at 4 tiers of play. So that is 244 stat blocks alone. Then there are some that have additional stat blocks, like Equinox has 2 forms at every stage. Sevagoth has his Dying Shadow at every stage, and then a final one for his Exalted Shadow. So that's another 5 on Sevagoth, another 4 on Equinox. You got things like Atlas, Inaros, Korra, Caliban with their summons. There are hundreds of stat blocks in here. Genuinely hundreds. To keep the identity of those frames, of those creatures all the way through. To maintain a balance, I've got a spreadsheet of all things I've balanced around. To make sure that I don't end up giving Nezha more strength than Hildrin or something like that. You're a Naris main till the rework? I'm expecting you to say you are still, but you were before as well. Is Kome a bit on the nose for D&D? Kome's in this. I've already added Kome. I've given Kome a very affected setup. So because a lot of Kome's setup is very computer game mechanic reliant, I needed to really work around that. Dice theme frame and dice theme game? Hey, why not? Why not? Sometimes a little bit of meta is a little bit of fun. You gotta have fun. Okay, so Evade. It's a special duration. CYTE-09 slips away into shadow, becoming invisible while the spell is active. How do I want to phrase this? I want it to be short. CYTE-09 needs to land hits, keep it going, but is it just hits? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, fair enough, Vanitas. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. CYTE-09 sips away into shadow, becoming invisible while spell is active. This spell initially lasts until the end of CYTE-09's next turn. Whenever CYTE-09 hits with a ranged attack, the duration of the duration of the spell increases by 1 round. Is that sufficient? That makes it easy to extend if he's got the setup, but if he's not got the setup or doesn't attack things, it's not as easy to defend. It's very easy to get that shut down. Yeah, I think... I can do it like that, but then say... At no point can the spell duration exceed 1 minute. 1 minute remaining. If he has a setup permanently invisible, well, I mean, yeah. That's what you could do in Warframe Ellie. Also, fun fact, because these are both leveled spells, CYTE-09 cannot cast Evade and Seek on the same turn. That's just a rule of D&D. So it means that if CYTE-09 casts Seek first to get the auto hits, CYTE-09 spent his entire action, that's the end. End of turn. If CYTE-09 instead casts Evade first, well, CYTE-09 can attack, but CYTE-09 hasn't then set up the Seek to go with it. There is that. Hey, Mantis. Yeah, I'm going to roll with that. Whenever CYTE-09 hits with a range attack, the duration of the spell increases by 1 round. The remaining duration can never exceed more than 1 minute. Brackets 10 rounds. Just to reinforce that detail. DM should know the detail, but it's one of those things where it takes up so little space to just reinforce the information. Why not put it there? Why not? The CYTE-09 slips away into shadow, becoming invisible. Yeah. Full stop, that's what. Becoming invisible until the spell ends. That's the better phrasing. There we are. The spell initially lasts until the end of CYTE-09's next turn. Whenever CYTE-09 hits with a range attack, the duration of the spell increases by 1 round. The remaining duration can never exceed more than 1 minute, brackets 10 rounds. Total instead of remaining? No, total means it'll just run out. After a minute, it's over. And that isn't CYTE-09's design in Warframe. This is something where D&D can absolutely capture that feeling of an indefinite invisibility if the sniper's given full reign. And so I'm keeping that in because that's part of the identity. Fair do, Vanitas. Fair do. Not really sure what to say on that for you, yeah. In theory, CYTE could keep refreshing this all the way to 10 rounds each turn. Yeah. Yeah, if nothing is done to combat CYTE-09's presence on the field, and CYTE-09 can keep landing an average of 1 hit per round, then CYTE-09 just keeps the invisibility forever. It is up to the players to deal with that. They need to be using Dispel to get rid of the magic, or they need to see invisibility and start slamming through him even though he's invisible, because they go, well, we can still see you and you're still weak as shit. It is up to the players to counter CYTE-09. And in order for them to have something to counter, CYTE-09 needs to be a threat. This is a spell that's only available at challenge 14 and above. So, it's meant to be a bit of a bastard. While CYTE-09 is invisible under this spell, it regains 4 hit points every time it lands a critical hit with a ranged weapon. Now this really gets in the way. Because that now says CYTE-09 is able to increase crit range over time. CYTE-09's now going to start healing faster and faster and faster up to just crit o'clock. Players, get on it. He's saying this kind of fucks over marshals then, right? If they don't have the spells to counter him, they should have to look. So, CYTE-09 doesn't have the ability to hide as a bonus action. Just saying, Evade cooldown ends prematurely in Warframe. In D&D, he can cast it once per short rest anyway. So, unless another Warframe gives him that spell back, once it's gone, it's gone. There's your cooldown. Yeah. CYTE-09 doesn't have the ability to innately hide as a bonus action. So if CYTE-09's just there taking shots with a gun, you can still hear where CYTE-09's shooting from. You can attack with disadvantage. And likewise, if you are a level 14 marshal, get hold of things that counter invisibility. Best bring at least Fairy Fire and Prey? Exactly, yeah. There are options. Bring spells, bring magic items. Bring a bag of flour if it really comes to it. The marshal that just sits there with a sword in hand and goes, I can't do anything, is the marshal that doesn't deserve to live once you're up to that level of gameplay. Get good or get promoted to corpse. It is absolutely a thing that marshals kind of get dicked on compared to spellcasters in D&D, in that spellcasters have not just a breadth of options, but they also maintain power in their options, whereas marshals just have power in what they do. So whilst technically they have more hit points, technically they can do more damage per round, if that's the only thing that matters, sure, a marshal is great. Get your sword guy and chuck him at the enemy. It's a recognized fact that spellcasters, however, just have more options. But yeah, it's still challenge 14, so kid gloves are completely off at that point. If you ain't good enough, you ain't good enough. Get slapped down, learn your lesson. Research your target. Mobot is also very correct. Mobot's saying it's on the DM to use their judgment. If you have a party full of marshals that can't counter him, you shouldn't throw CYTE at them unless you specifically are trying to punish them. And that is absolutely true, yes. I am trusting DM judgment to not pick up the invisible gun frame against a bunch of toddlers with swords. Yeah. Works out. Okay. Excuse me. So, while CYTE-09 is invisible in this spell, regains 4 hit points every time it lands a critical hit with a ranged weapon. Let's capitalize ranged and weapon to show those are specifically things which are keyworded, a ranged weapon. And yeah, that's the spell in itself right there. That doesn't need anything else to it. Now, let's cover some details. Greater invisibility in D&D 5e is a 4th level illusion spell as an action, up to a minute concentration on a target creature you touch. It is both vocal and somatic. Now this can be shorter, but also can be longer. That is evade. Evade is as a bonus action. Evade does not have a vocal component. Evade does not have concentration. All intentional. So on that basis, with greater invisibility being 4th level, I am going to design evade as a 6th level void illusion. Because it is just simply that much more powerful. Alright then. Yeah, that's the spell. CYTE-09 Master, time to add this to your list of options. Evade, 1 per short rest. CYTE-09 casts Evade as a 6th level spell. There we go. And whilst we're at it, Seek here is also 4th level. Resupply doesn't need to cast at a higher level. There's no reason to. There's nothing it gains from that. So rather than adding the complication, I'm just going to leave it there. That's simple enough for me. Okay. I might be able to get CYTE-09 Prime on the same page. Well, that's nice. Let's see if that actually works out. It'd be very nice if I could get it to fit there. CYTE-09 Prime. Okay, stat increases. Again, using the Banshee template. Banshee gets 16 strength. So does CYTE-09. Banshee reached 20 dexterity. We're going to go for 22 with CYTE-09. Banshee reached 16 con. We're matching that. Banshee's intelligence reached 22. We're going to go only to 21 here with CYTE-09. Actually, only 20. Let's go down another pip. Banshee reached 20 wisdom. CYTE-09 will match that. And Banshee reached 13 charisma. CYTE-09's going to go to 14 for a +2. There we are. If not convenient space for art, I'll be honest, Jason, the convenient spaces for art are very inconvenient, because then I need to produce the art. That's just... Did you say... I was going to say Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Spear, Spell Sniper, but you're doing full homebrew? Oh, absolutely. These are monsters, and a whole lot of them. I am not doing any half measures on any of this. This is something that you can drop into any campaign and have an absolute blast with in a very unique set of encounters. Alright, armor class, Banshee 18, CYTE-09 is going to match that. This is now going to be studded leather armor. Oop, there you go. That just fits. Hit point evaluation, Constitution is now 16. For this challenge rater, that means I should be giving them a hit points of 247. And that is a 33d8 plus 99. Those are easy numbers. Jason, it looks like this. That's how I do it with the bits. And then for smaller graphics, I'll be, again, doing capture-y bits here or there and just editing to make it look like how I need it to. I really like how this Dagath came out, by the way. I really like this one. It's simple, it's very basic composition, but at the same time, it's just got such a beautiful energy to it. I genuinely wasn't sure if I could get Dagath to work, and right there, she did. Whereas Atlas and Aras, I'm not happy with those ones. I'm not going to spend time trying to make them better, because quite frankly, there's only so much I can do. But that one, it's really aided by the atmosphere of Duviri. I appreciate the offer, Jason, however, at this point, everything in this document is me, and I'm gonna finish it that way. All of me. Just as a personal project. Yeah. Olicon, it looks like Nitius used the command just before you, so the bot's just above you instead of below. Just FYI. Alrighty, we got the hit points, got the bits pieces there. Let's up the speed a little bit more because it's Prime, it deserves it. Saving throws. Now let's add on the charisma. Why not? Oh, I've not actually updated the level and bits associated. There you go, Jason. As a rule, anyone who is actively in the document, so not just helping the streams, but actively in the document, would need to be included. My personal sanity would not accept that anyway, otherwise. To include someone's work and not credit them is an anathema to me. Let's get these stats all upgraded. Persuasion. 2 plus 6 is 8. And stealth, 6 and 6 is 12. Now, I don't want to give CYTE-09 another skill here, so I'm actually going to give expertise in perception, bringing this up to plus 17. Which means a passive perception of 27. 27 passive perception. Oh boy. You just try and hide from that. Oh, you just try. And this isn't homebrew bullshit. That's perfectly legitimate. Like, high-level rogues get that as well. If you get a rogue or a bard with expertise in perception, you get them up to having that wisdom plus 5, yeah, you can have that. That's just straight up accessible. Which is partly why I laugh at people like, oh no, my players have too much stealth, they're just hiding from everything, or vice versa. Oh no, they have too much perception. Your monsters can have high rolls too. They don't always have them. Your players are supposed to succeed at the things they try to succeed at, but they can have the high rolls too. If you have a player with 25 stealth on average, CYTE-09 Prime rocks up and goes, sup. Bang. If you have a player with 25 perception, Well, just so happens that Timmy the Goblin here has a +6 in stealth and rolled a nat 20. Timmy is now giving you the middle finger, forgetting that he just hid from you so you can't see the middle finger. So many times I've seen in so many spaces, offline and online, people complaining about players having high stats. That's the fucking point. They're supposed to be able to get high stats. And then be terrified to all fuck that one time it's not good enough. But yeah. Anyway, rant aside, let me continue. Bullet jump. CYTE-09's bullet jump distance is now vertical 3 + 3 is 6 base, that's 18 feet vertical. Horizontal 16 times 3 is 48. Should know this. Yeah, it's 48. You understand it? You want your players to succeed? There are plenty of DM who thinks that the players are supposed to struggle and suffer. They get this idea in their head that player actions should be able to fail frequently, and so when someone invests in a very particular thing, the DM then zeroes in on, right, how do I beat this thing? How do I beat it? And they get this animosity going. They feel like there shouldn't be a player able to solve something, and all they can now see is this thing that looks hard to stop. And it really isn't. When it comes to perception, you know how you defeat perception as a monster? It really is that simple. It really is that simple. Is there a better demonstration? You couldn't see me, you couldn't hear me. What the hell is there to detect? Kelton? We'll have this one. I don't know what button I pressed. But yeah, there are counters. DMs get good. The other thing as well is I see DMs complain about players trying to stealth in unreasonable environments and whatnot. All kinds of situations like, oh, but the player's in plain sight. How could they avoid being detected? Blah 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 blah. One, I just get tired of hearing that bullshit. I'll be quite honest. Two, have you ever been looking for your phone? And you've been looking around and looking around, or maybe your keys, maybe your wallet, maybe your purse, your handbag, something mundane, something not camouflaged, and you could have sworn you looked there. You could have sworn you checked that table, you checked that spot. It wasn't there. But the moment you ask someone else to look, they're like, yeah, it's right there. It wasn't. You failed your perception check. It happens. And all that happened is just your phone sat there like, what's up? So yeah. If the circumstances allow for a chance at stealth, give a chance at stealth. Give disadvantage if you need to, sure, why not? But like, unless the player is stood in an empty box room facing their opponent, at which point, who's even asking for stealth? It's gonna be something. Give him a shot. Try and make things interesting, but get the player to put in the effort to say so as well. If the player just goes, I press the stealth button, like, fuck off, go play Skyrim. We're here to roleplay. It's D&D. Especially in combat, you forget everything is around that happens in 6 seconds. Yeah. Not just everything is around that happens in 6 seconds. How much attention do you think you're paying to the skittery little hobbit over there when Mr. Twin Tower the Giant Titan, where each leg is basically a tree trunk, his sword is just the top of a mountain he gnawed off, is barreling down on you, you're like, ah! Are you focusing on the halfling rogue? Fuck, you could be missing the Minotaur rogue at that point. Tower of a person. Busy. Perception becomes a little bit more touch and go when death looms right above your head. Or maybe the wizard just starts casting his 4th fireball. You're like, how many of these do I need to dodge? You're not going to notice the rogue. You're just not. Well, sometimes you might. Maybe the rogue falls over and everyone laughs. Haha, crit fumbles. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. CYTE-09's avoid power ability, intelligence, 5, 6, 19. There we go. Oops, not 119. That'd be bad. We got the Ricardo fixed rifle would now be a +12 to hit. Or not 11 for 10 damage. Average 10.5, but it writes as 10. Vesper is now going to be a 23. Do we give it an extra D8? Yeah. So that is 27? Yeah, 27. 5d8 is 5 lots of 4.5. That's 22.5 plus 5, 27.5. Yeah, 27. Cool. It deals extra damage equal to int mod, which is 5. There we go. Dagger is still just going to be a poxy little dagger. I'm not giving any buffs to the dagger whatsoever. It will continue to sit there. And in the future, if this does get to be a popular document, I can guarantee... Oh, I made that wrong. I'll double check the numbers in a moment. I can guarantee I'll get someone at some point going, Kensnir, why does the dagger on CYTE-09 not have multi-attack? It's only 8 damage. Why would anyone use it? The point is he's not supposed to really want to use it. It's just there. So its weakness, get close. How are we supposed to do that? That's your problem. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah. If he's stabbing someone, things have gone badly wrong. Pretty much. Although, you know, pistol in one hand, dagger in the other, bang, that's the action. Someone gets up close. Attack of opportunity. That exists. Yeah. Not like you can't disarm a warframe? Exactly! Exactly. You can disarm a warframe, yeah. Anyway. Options exist. Point is, the dagger's not supposed to be winning. As much as ceramic dagger is what Quincy uses in Warframe, nothing says it's the ceramic dagger in canon, let alone a well-modded ceramic dagger in canon. Have I given them legendary actions or only legendary resistances? So CYTE-09 only is going to get legendary resistances, no legendary actions as it were. Other frames in certain places have gained legendary actions, yes. But CYTE-09, I'm not making one of those. Part of it is that it's a methodical sniper. Legendary actions are much more for spreading the action economy and doing things between rounds. That doesn't feel very much methodical sniper to me. So that is part of the weakness of CYTE-09, is the lack of reaction. Their action economy is stuck, limited. So they have to make very, very good on that. But we'll be bringing in the top level spot in a moment. Alright, so just double checking on the numbers here. 5d8 is 22.5 plus a 6. That's 28.5. Was this other one wrong? 4d8 is 9, 18 plus 4, 22. Not by 6. Oh, because it's not plus 4, it's plus 5. That's where I've gone wrong. God damn it, Ken. Why was that left as a plus 4? No wonder I was thrown off. Ugh. Fixed. Brady's saying, wait, but what if the Primes is secretly ED in canon? After hitting with the dagger X amount of times, it goes from being a single die dagger to a powerhouse, encouraging players to get close and blitz him down. I mean, it's an option to make the dagger do more stuff, but I don't think that's really going to be necessary. I get what you're saying about the dagger option there. There are other frames that have melee interesting things happen. Okay, basic stats all in the correct places now. We've got the saving throws, we've got the Auric Resolve. I've not put on the resistance yet. Let's see. CYTE-09 resistance. What damage resistance to give CYTE-09? Oh, and I need to add in the condition immunities as well. Let's do those real quickly. Dagath Prime, copy from there. Condition immunities goes out to senses. Let's just do that. So damage resistance, not necrotic. Let's go with... Let's go with Thunder. Because CYTE-09, modelled after Quincy, or modelled around Quincy or something like that, Quincy loves shooting things, making them blow up, so Quincy is going to be used to explosions, so I'm going to go with Quincy is resistant to thunder damage. They've just dealt with so many explosions, this cool guy doesn't need to look at them, and doesn't need to suffer them as much. That's what I'm going to go with on that one. Also not keeping the frightened condition immunity, that's a Dagath thing. Sniper wouldn't be great if they got distracted by a loud sound. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Thunder resistance. Job's a good one. Am I giving him the sharpshooter feat so ignores half and 3/4 cover? No, for two reasons. One, I don't want to include feats written in any of the books. I can make my own things. Two, we have a Seek ability. That's our will. We can just cast Seek. Seek works. Or did you not see the Seek bit be created? CYTE-09 deploys a tiny scrying sensor, yada yada. Scans continuously, even through obstacles, so long as those obstacles don't block scrying, yada yada. For the spell duration, can make attacks against revealed creatures through any amount of cover, including full cover, without penalty to hit. This includes firing through physically impassable barriers. So yeah, CYTE-09's got you covered, dude. We don't need to reinvent the wheel on this one. Yeah, I think the major stat block itself is now set up, so it's just a case of adding in the gun. Okay. How do we want to go about this? Neutralize. Shoot through a wall of force? Yep. Shoot through a wall of force. A wall of force is not preventing scrying, so... Shot happened. If you want to not get shot by that, make sure that CYTE-09 can't detect you. I think I put in Seek that invisible things don't get detected. Unless that creature is invisible or otherwise impossible to detect. So that's the counter. Wall of Force isn't the counter, it's don't be detected in the first place. Then they just don't get the ability to shoot through reality enough to hit you. They got nothing to lock onto. So this is how CYTE-09 counters the players countering something else, so the players need a new counter for the counter of CYTE-09's counter. Yeah. Can I see the vision for CYTE-09? It is all in sight. I'm sorry.
Another pun? How humiliating.
Nope. I'm taking that one. I'm taking that one. Alright. Y'all suck with me. Okie dokie. Neutralize, casting time, action, or bonus action. I'm going to go with action, because all the bonus actions are spells anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Going to punish players for taking things slow and being in tight formation? Very much so, yes. It is the ambush frame, or one of the ambush frames. Viewership drops by 90%. Story of my life. I mean... Alright, so, neutralize, casting time, 1 action, range self, component somatic only, duration... So it costs energy to fire in Warframe, but we can do things to gain the energy back. If you use the sharpshooter mod, it's actually energy neutral. So... concentration until dispelled. Just... if he activates the sniper and you don't break his concentration, he's just gonna keep using it. Now, he's only got a +3 to con saves. Only a +3. But he has also got Auric Resolve, but hit can screw that up. But if you don't get on top of him, he's just going to keep using that sniper and keep on dealing the damage. And this allowed me to just go a little bit crazy with the damage on it. Yeah, let's do that. Duration. Concentration. Until dispelled. It just lasts. Very much so, Umbrella, yes. From a martial perspective. Fireball is still Fireball. But Dex 12, so maybe not. Could we also be like Crown of Stars, we get X shocks per cast? Nah. I don't want the spell to run out. I want the players to have to deal with the spell. They're going to have to just deal with CYTE-09. So yeah. Neutralize. 8th level Void. Conjuration. Pretend energy isn't a factor? It isn't a factor. CYTE-09 summons its Neutralizer Sniper Rifle. Only 3rd level. This is CR19. 3rd level. Oh, Sleet Storm, you mean. Sorry, right. Sleet Storm 5e, remind me. Heavily obscured, guaranteed covered, difficult trade, enters almost made. If the creature is concentrating in the spell area, must make a successful con save against spell save DC or lose concentration. Okay, yeah, so that's just another way of forcing concentration. Yeah. Just a thing that forces it, fair enough. The CYTE-09 summons its Neutralizer Sniper Rifle. So where does it go from there? Yeah. As an action... or as part of casting this spell, CYTE-09 may make up to 3 ranged spell attacks against targets it can see. Sorry, against targets, not targets, against targets within, let's give it long range, 600 feet. Yeah. Are we favouring the rifle to fit more high fantasy type D&D, or are we just leaving that up to DM? Leaving that up to DM at this point, Ellie. If a DM chooses CYTE-09 and didn't want guns in their campaign, I would like to say directly to that DM, you're an idiot. There are 59 Warframes to pick from. 2 of them are gun-themed. Pick the other 57. Am I doing some script that is automated when playing D&D digitally? You can do. You can use various services to help automate certain actions, absolutely. But I am creating the stat blocks for players to implement for their own mean, Jason, I've been using the phrase "you're an idiot" for years, like since I learned it, pretty much. I have never one to shy away from calling someone an idiot, including myself. I will frequently consider myself an idiot. When you do idiotic things, you get labeled an idiot. That's how you acknowledge one's mistakes. Only a fool fears being called an idiot when they're being an idiot. Now, Ellie, you've not personally heard it at least 12 times, at least not directed at you. Others, well... If someone wanted to be hunted by a Warframe, Ivara would be a good choice. She's got a bow. Yeah, Ivara's stealthy huntress, absolutely. And the playtesters can absolutely verify Ivara was terrifying right up until someone saw invisibility, saw the hidden zipline, and broke it. Ivara, why did you stand over the chasm? Why did she end her turn over the chasm? Good opener. A very on-point ending. But the initial opener of Navigator Arrow that just whizzed around the cave, the players were like, how many of us is it hitting? That was great. It's also reason you're worried about the marshals though, because the Ivara, they couldn't do a whole lot. Yeah. You guys didn't take steps to really prepare for invisibility. You had access to an entire magic item workshop, Ellie. And you know what most of y'all chose? Bigger weapons. Now, whose fault is that? Who's really to blame at that point? Sure, you ran in and rescued a kid from a very evil Loki. And sure, you weren't going to take shit from Mesa talking shit about your god whilst mixing some drinks at a tavern. I get it, Ellie. But did anyone really take the time to plan for more than damage? Yeah. Am I going to need testers for CYTE? I am familiar enough with the mechanics of the game that I'm not planning a playtest on this one before it's released. Simply put. You feel like Resupply plus Ivara is a sadistic DM's best pairing. Resupply does have a limit on how much it can benefit the target. Yeah. Best form of crowd control is a dead enemy. That's what Warframe taught us at least. Well, not everything in Warframe translates over to D&D, does it now? That's why it's taken me hundreds of hours to do this. That and I waffle on stream. So, you know, a lot of reasons. CYTE-09 may make up to 3 range spell attacks against targets within 600 feet. Let's see. Side-to-side sniper rifle, yeah, the special feature is the ricochet on headshot. So we'll go with on critical hit, the shot can ricochet. We'll do with that as well, so yeah. On hit, each target takes, and we'll figure out damage amount in a moment. This one I'm going to calculate the amount of damage available, and then squeeze it down until I get to how much damage the base needs to be. So each target takes some amount of damage. Yeah. If the attack is a critical hit, CYTE-09 may redirect the shot to hit an additional target within 10 within 20, no, it's 10 meters base range. Let's just go 30 feet. 30 feet of the original target, rolling a new attack. This may ricochet again for a maximum of 3 ricochets per shot fired. Each ricochet must target a new creature, and each ricochet deals half the damage of the previous hit. Okay. Am I getting a bit wordy? Oh, that's a long paragraph. Let's do that. No. On hit, then the crit is its own paragraph. There we are. If the attack is a critical hit, CYTE-09 may redirect the shot to hit an additional target within 30 feet of the original target, rolling a new attack. This may ricochet again. No, this may ricochet again 2 more times. This may ricochet again on subsequent critical hits. There we go. Up to a maximum of 3 ricochets per shot fired. Each ricochet must target a new creature, and each ricochet deals half the damage of the previous hit. Yeah. That's very clear in its wording. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's see. Let's give a scope style effect. So when you scope in with the sniper rifle in Warframe, you increase the critical damage, and we already have a feature of increasing critical range here, which is more to increase the consistency of critical hits. So let's lean into that. Alternatively, as an action, CYTE-09 may steady its aim with the neutralizer. Its range for this turn increases to 1800 feet. Fuck it, why not? And its critical range. No. So its range for this turn increases to 1,800 feet, and its practiced aim. That should have attacks around it. Feature triggers as if CYTE-09 landed a critical hit. It then may make 1 attack against a target in range. Instead of 3. May still ricochet as before. Okay, so the design with that one. Alternatively, as an action, CYTE-09 may steady its aim with the neutralizer. Its range for this turn increases to 1,800 feet, and its practiced aim feature triggers as if CYTE-09 landed a critical hit. It then may make 1 attack against a target in range instead of 3. this attack may still ricochet as before. Effectively, we're trading out 2 of the 3 attacks to guarantee expanding this critical range passive feature. It's like taking that time to zoom in so you get the extra range, you get the extra crit damage, but now you're really hard focusing one spot. One big shot. I think that works out. Yeah, I think that works out. It's not supposed to be the most powerful option of all of them, but it's more of a fallback if the DM really wants to scale up those crits. And they can use it as an excuse to slow down their attacks if they think their players might be getting a bit overwhelmed. Or to just reach further out. If they go, oh, you're hiding at 700 feet, are you? Or 1,700 feet? Well... yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. Okay. So now, I need to figure out the damage. At this level of play, a Challenge 19 creature should have an average damage output, assuming it's got average tank, of 95 damage per round. Now, CYTE-09 does not have average tank, so that puts points in its favour for its damage output, so we can be a little bit more flexible with our actual output here. What CYTE-09 could theoretically do is action, get out Neutralize, then turn 2, cast Resupply to boost the damage of Neutralizer, and then continue using their action to neutralize. And turn 3, just keep on neutralizing. At some point they might have thought about casting Evade, but we're going to assume they're so far away they didn't need to focus on Evade, so they can focus on pure damage. I want to see what damage they can get. Oh yeah, Doshes, yeah, absolutely. If the players allow CYTE-09 to get set up and fully powered up, they're gonna die, basically. They're gonna die. Don't let it get to that point. Break the visibility, break his invisibility, shut down the gun, remove the concentration, or die. Encounters aren't supposed to last forever. Win or lose. The DM's got to go to the toilet at some point. So, yeah, we're on with that. So I want to aim for a little over 95 average damage per round. Let's aim for 120, maybe 130, somewhere that ballpark with Neutralize, to assume it gets taken off them. It's a 48 healing, high roll from Neutralize that might be scary. Look, if the players get hit with, what's that, 12 critical hits. 12 critical hits, granted with the halving of damage down the line, then sure, why not? Actually, wait, can that? No. Wait. Yeah, no, I said ranged attacks, yeah. Yeah, it's fine, yeah. That's legit. Oh, yeah! I put the resupply works on ranged weapon attacks by making Neutralize a ranged spell attack. That's the bit where they won't work together. Do I want it that way around, or do I want it to be... Evade doesn't count. No, I think I want it that way around, because otherwise ranged spell attacks can get kind of spicy, and resupplying a ranged spell attack sounds weird. So yeah, I'll leave the healing in and keep the damage out. So resupply damage can't affect Neutralize. That's good to bear in mind. That actually makes it easier to balance this into a scary number. So let's aim for like 120 odd. Now if we're hitting and then halving at worst case scenario, in that worst case scenario, we don't even reach double damage. Because if you take 1, add half, add quarter, add eighth, you get 1 7/8. It's not double. And with rounding down that happens in D&D, it's actually even lower still. So I don't need to worry too much about those crits kind of overspreading damage. Especially as it's spread between new targets, the total damage output is not as effective as if it's just beamed one single target. So that again allows me to take the damage higher. And that's again, even assuming you get such consistent critical hits, which is far from guaranteed. Until CYTE-09's got the crit range increasing and going, it starts at 20. So that's also work to get through as well. So I can mostly cut out a lot of that concern. Which is good. 3 attacks, assuming standard attacks, standard hit chance is about 65%. Average damage of 40 will put us at 120. You assume there are flat damage reduction effects as well to think of? Like you can just no-sell the third hit if it's technically a critical hit? Technically just no-sell the third hit? Not sure I follow, sorry Doshes. Not sure I follow. Let's see. So yeah, if I make it for 40, but then we add in guaranteed hit potential and spread potential, if we value guaranteed hit potential at extra 50% chance to hit, so we reduce the damage by a third, and then we got the spreading reduced by a third again, basically we're halving, so I'd want to have a 20 damage hit per shot. Yeah, 20 damage hit per shot. And I could do... That's average damage. I could do 2d10 plus 9. Gives me 20. The plus 9 makes the crits less swingy. Because they don't get increased. So yeah, 2d10 plus 9. That's saying reduces damage to 0 somehow, like reduce damage by 5 or something. Okay, it's a very rare effect to reduce damage by a flat number in 5th edition. Very rare effect. Heavy Armor Master is the only one that springs to mind, and that, if I recall correctly, doesn't work against magical attacks. I think. Let me check. Heavy Armor Master 5e. Yes, I misspelled it. Yeah, non-magical. So it wouldn't even work against this thing because it's a spell attack. But if you did reduce the damage to 0, then the ricochet attack would deal half of 0, which is 0, so yeah. Normally, if you round down damage down to 1 and then halve it, it just vanishes, yeah. And that's fine, Dodges, that's fine. I welcome in the questions. Obviously, it means I'm going to have to figure out the level of knowledge we may have of the mechanics to get me there, but yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the insight. So let's spec this one out at 20, that is brackets 2d10 plus 9 piercing damage per shot. So, ranged spell attack against targets within 600 feet for 2d10 plus 9 piercing damage, which is an average of 20, just because of how dice work. And they can do that 3 times each turn without restriction. That is 60 damage straight up. If they crit, that crit itself as an average hit of 31, and then can ricochet for average 15, which ricochets for average 7, which ricochets for average 3. God, halving 31 3 times ends up with 3 because of the rounding errors. Whereas if you just did that mathematically, it would be 3.875. Okay, it's not that much of a deal, is it? But if you doubled 3 times, you only come out to 24, not 31. So, yeah. I had a point. Anyway. That works out there, so 60 damage per round, potential to go a little bit higher on crits and whatnot, but then taking into account that when it's combined with Seek, you get those guaranteed hits, but those guaranteed hits are only if you have advantage to hit, which if you're invisible, yes you do, and if it's firing through walls, which it can do, if it's firing through walls, it gets half damage again on those attacks anyway. So like the potential for damage is actually really nasty, but only if the stars align, and even then it's spread out across the group. On a single target, it can't ricochet to itself, so the damage ceiling is actually quite a bit further down than it first seems. It's almost at the point where 20 damage might not be enough, but if I take it any higher, there is the risk of it getting oppressive if the DM plays it overly smart. And I don't want the DM to feel like they have to hold back when playing such a high level character. When you find yourself looking at your player's hit points and looking at your stat sheet and going, it begins to feel awkward. You find yourself running up against, do I fudge the dice? Do I play this imperfectly? Do I conveniently forget a feature to use? Yeah. High level CO, you get the worse and worse ambush gets relative to level. I would say ambushes are more dangerous at lower level because it's so much swingier. At high level, people have answers and reactions and options all over the place. If you hit a level 1 character with a D8, you might roll 8 damage, you might crit and roll 16 damage. Very few level 1 characters can look at 16 damage and go, yeah, that's fine. And yet at the same time, you could roll 1 on the 1d8. You get up to this level, and you're firing 2d10 plus 9, 2d10 plus 9, 2d10 plus 9. The law of averages squishes that so hard, and the players have so many more hit points to weather the bigger swings, it's so much more manageable. Level 1 and 2 is by far the most dangerous in D&D 5th edition, because you don't start with many hit points. Law of averages? Yeah, the more you do something, the more likely you are to reach average. So like with this here, we've got 2d10 plus 9 3 times over. You are very, very, very much more likely to roll 60 than you are 10 or 100. Whereas if I just got one big die with, say, 60 sides on it, I roll a d60, I could roll 1, I could roll 60. The swing is huge. So law of averages gets more of a play the more you try. Yeah. So are you glad your first campaign started at level 3? More forgiving? Yeah. If I were to redesign 5th edition, that's one of the things I would address. Starting hit points would just be higher. So, effectively, I would probably scale everything so that level 3 hit points were the starting, and you just climb from there. And it means you've also got much more room to have below level 1 hit points for things like a commoner or a guard. Because the very concept is going, oh yeah, commoners, they have D4 hit points. And you're like, D4? Like, maximum 4 hit points without a con mod. So, like, I'm 16 strength. Just, he's dead. Like, 16 strength is good, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah. Sleep well, mate. Oh, what's that? You, had your cat get upset at you? Guess you're dead now. It feels a bit weird. Bum too hard and that's the game? Pretty much, yeah. Oh, card game, nice. Not card game, this isn't a card game. Not a card game. Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game, TTRPG, where effectively nerds got together and decided that roleplay needed rules. Because otherwise, we all know a James, we all know a Dylan, we all know the types. The ones that go, nuh-uh, my anti-goblin shield blocks your attack. So we have rules. It's collaborative role-playing with rules to stop John. You have lava-proof armor? Well, I have anti-armor ropes. Your armor just got yanked away at the last moment. Haha. Yeah. It's like any game, really. You added rules so that people know that there's challenge and conditions. It's fine. You have an anti-rope sword? Oh, you think a sword's going to help you? Well, I went back in time and outlawed swords, so they never got invented. Haha. What are we saying? What are we saying? You're home with an ad and Twitch not letting you prime sub? God damn it, Twitch. God damn it. Proto-frames exist. You wonder how good a proto-frame would work for D&D campaign? I mean, if someone wanted to befriend one of these warframes, go right ahead. But I design them to be evil. They're happy to kill. They don't care about you. They care about your loot. Yes, you, the player, drop loot. Oops. Right. So this is neutralize. 1 per short rest. So if it's taken away, it is gone. CYTE-09 casts neutralize as an 8th level spell and concentrates on it. Boom. Do I have room to put the neutralizer in as a special action? I think I do. Also, that Oracle resolve needs to be 3 times. Oops. There we are. I think I have room to include that. So if I go neutralizer brackets while neutralize is active. Hey!
Finally letting me use this. Can I have an orange bubble if you got any smile?
I've got rose goldy pinky style, which I think might look a little bit orange behind me. I can give that a whirl. Kelton, thank you very much for the prime. Up onto 8 months. Let's see. Here we go. So I got a bauble that colour. Will that one do the trick for you? Is that good enough? Do warframes not have dark vision? Some of them do, most of them don't. That is a counter. See, that's occupied. That branch is occupied. That branch is not occupied. There we go. I found a branch. Yeah, Nitius, a lot of them do not have dark vision. You'll notice that our warframes, they turn on a torch when they go through places. So it implies we don't have dark vision. But yeah, most warframes do not handle darkness all that well. That is one of the soft counters for the group of warframes. Another counter is telling them that Space Mom left them. Has the other side of the tree been decorated? Oh yeah. Dogtile. Yeah, it's all the way around. Does that mean every warframe has a flashlight, though? Dungeons & Dragons. Made by a Brit. Torch. Yeah, there's... A DM can imply whatever inventory they like for these lot. Neutralizer. Well, neutralize is active. Ranged. Spell attack. That is plus... Ooh. Yes, plus 12 to hit. Range 600 feet. One target. Hit. is 20 brackets 2d10 plus 9. Piercing damage. On critical hit, it can ricochet to a new target. Bracket C spell. Just at that point, it's like, just go read the spell again. It's only here to just remind you it's an action. Go read the spell. And yeah, I've added in the multi-attack can make 3 attacks with its recon effects or neutralizer. I think covers the majority of that. Yeah. Torch implies it could be a burning rag on a stick, and it could well be. You imagine that a Warframe would not be walking around with a torch on a stick and then just go, oh, hey, person, jab. Yep, that person's flammable. Oh, they're screaming now. Yep. They're still screaming. Oh, yeah, no, the screaming stopped now. Okay. Oh, cool. Loot. Warframe. Am I going to do a before and after picture of the tree? I've already done the before picture. That was posted up on both Twitter and Discord, so yes is the answer to that. I will be posting the final tree picture at the end of Sunday's stream. Or shortly after if I forget to do it before I go away for Christmas. Okay, is that done? That can't be done. Are we done? Oh, one more level on Seek. Take it to 5th level. As a treat. But yeah, we got the hit points, we got the armor, we got the speed, we got the saves, we got the condition immunities, damage resistance, languages, challenge, proficiency, all the stats there. We've got the bullet jump, we've got the Oracle Resolve, it is 3 times, practiced aim doesn't change, void power, DC updated, multi-attack, rifle, Vesper, dagger, neutralizer, seek, neutralize, resupply, and evade are all in place. We got the spells, durations, features, all of that good stuff. Yeah. I think that is CYTE-09 as a D&D blurb. Check the walls. Check them again. This Warframe can set up scrying sensors well beyond ordinary detection and shoot with lethal effect through entire stone walls. Check the walls, check them again. This Warframe can set up scrying sensors well beyond ordinary detection and shoot with lethal effect through entire stone walls. It's never what you can see that kills you. That's an introduction. I think that's a satisfactory introduction. Check the walls, check them again. This Warframe can set up scrying sensors well beyond ordinary detection and shoot with lethal effect through entire stone walls. It's never what you can see which kills you. Yep. Just enough of an intro to say, to a DM glancing through, okay, what kind of thing is a CYTE-09? Invisible and shoots through walls with scrying. Hell yeah, time to piss off my players. Right, add it to the campaign. Job's a good one. So now, similar to how Degath has her intro image, I need an intro image for CYTE-09. So now it's time that I open up Warframe. Log on just so you got a gifted sub? You did indeed, absolutely. I think that was probably from Mirrorlab. So, let me just switch us over now to a intermission screen whilst I change around the mechanics of the setup here. It's time to open up Warframe and do a little bit of Captura. Get a good Captura going for CYTE-09. Now, I do have CYTE-09 all styled up in the colours of Skaldra, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the right direction, given its very bright colours. And for those who don't know Skaldra's appearances, that could just look weird. But we'll see how it comes together. Just logging in. Here we go. And boop, there it is. Also, yes, I need to get around to doing that. I've been busy. I will get to you later. But not today. Not right now. So yeah, this is the appearance that I have currently on CYTE-09. Honestly, the colour's not overwhelming. It's got that subdued green on grey. Kind of like a mold green. Overall, it does look a bit mouldy rather than snipey, but it's meant to be a monster, so yeah. Do any of the Warframe abilities use vocal, somatic, and material components? Yes, all of them specify whether they use vocal, somatic, material, or any combination thereof. Usually the stealthy ones will use only somatic, and is somatic, not semantic. I think your phone might have auto-corrected, but just FYI. A lot of them will use vocal and somatics. Shoulder piece might be thematically confusing. Yeah, you're right there. You are right. Yeah, so if I took that off for now, looks a little bare without it. Yeah. No. 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 I mean, the default is just that, but that looks boring. Just boring. Let's see if I can get something to work with that as is. Let's try that first. I might just be prejudging it. If I can get something up in Holvania, that could look good. Holvania does have some nice settings. Not that. Let me think. So I've previously taken a shot. I think I have Revenant posed like around here. So I need something different from that for this. Is there a... You can destroy the cars in Captura. Good to know. Is there a room I can get into and be sniping from? Maybe? Because I could go with something along these lines. I'm losing a lot of it behind the railing. I don't know if that's going to be too much of a problem, to be honest. But to get the idea of El Sniperinos, let's get rid of that depth of field. Bring in field of view. Yeah, because if I get the low shot to give the impression of looking up at it, then I'm getting a lot of raining in the way. But looking down, we lose character identity. Maybe try the Mortar's Shoulder Guard? That was the Mortar's Shoulder Guard. I used to think it was. No. Thematically, the railing fits something to rest the sniper on and get the steady shot. But visually, I lose a lot of him in the process. But a shot from behind, I feel like we're hiding identity. Not to mention we get that sign in the way. I'd have to rotate him around so I can get this angle. Because almost every other Warframe, I either have side on or face on, not from the back. Because the idea is you face threats. Come back to that thought. Here's the... Oh, is this a shorter? No, it's the same height. I could, like, try and corner peek. Okay, that wasn't much of a corner peek, was it? Crouching on the ledge near some sandbags might look better. The sandbags here? Yeah, no. You have how the hand fuses with the gun to form a stock. I did notice that, yeah. Very Mace-esque on that one. Like, where does gun end and hand begin? The answer is no. How very, very Warframe. Where's the speaker? Where's the speaker that's coming from? That's just poster and lights. Game. 0 out of 10, unplayable. Alright, sandbags on ledge. Sandbags on ledge, where are they? It's not here. Fuck off. Ooh, if I had him step out just a little bit further and whack up the exposure. You know, that's actually really simple. And that allows us to focus more on the character. It's a very simple area. Nice solid straight lines to help kind of frame it. And again, it's that corner peek. I wonder if I even do need to have him step out any further, to be honest. Because the way he's got his legs spread, it might look a bit weird. Like, this does give you the impression of that guy who's just around the corner, waiting for that perfect lineup. You can easily see the appearance, the figure. If I get some extra light... Oh god, that might be a problem. Let's not use that light. If I rotate that one... Yikers. Give that something more muted. Just to help bring out the edges around a bit more. So without it, with it. Just to help get the shape of the person and the gun a little bit more. Yeah. And I can still enhance this in GIMP afterwards. Any more on scene light, perhaps? No, I don't want to wash things out in the edit. Alright, yeah. I can work with this. I can work with that. It's a very different style to a lot of the other Warframes, but he's a sniper. He's going to be different. That's kind of the point. Yeah, let's roll with that one. Get that in nice and close. Just stay there. That'll be fine. Alright, I need to go out of the game. I need to open up the program for super high resingness. Confirm Warframe, 16 by 9, 1937 megapixel. Set. Screenshot. Oops. It's not screenshotting. Why is it not screenshotting? Why is it just opening Chrome? What the fuck? What? What? I'm pressing screenshot and it's opening Chrome. Have I accidentally hit the function button on my keyboard. I'm a professional. There we go. Okay. Screenshot acquired. Now I open up the two locations. So I've got where the screenshot's saved and where the final pieces go to. I need you. There we go. I need you. There we go. Let us size for export. Get this up onto screen. And now let's switch to view so y'all can see this. So that's how it looks like for Lavos, by the way, in case anyone missed that. Now let's bring in the CYTE-09 capture. Yeah, it's a very different vibe. Very different. So, this does need some work on it. At the moment, it is very dull. Let's work on a new layer. A new copy of it. First of all, let's just screw around with brightness contrast. If I just whack that up a bit. Okay, already that gets rid of that grayed out feel on it. We're no longer looking through some dirty glasses. You have to deal with a lot of Warframe stuff. That cleans it up quite nicely. From there, I want to shade this up a bit. Let's put some heavy shadowing over here. Let's put him into dark and have this up light. I wonder if that'll work out for us. So if I go paintbrush, give us just shadow, low opacity, do this very soft, and large brush. Let's new layer. So I'm shading a new place. Okay, that's too soft. This kind of darkening of the region back here. Yeah, let's take that another step back. Try not to hit the Warframe itself too much. There we go. No raffle today, Rex. No raffle today. Now we got that bit of shade there. You can see the drop down in color focus. Do a bit more about the arms here. Nope, not like that. Just kind of bring him out a bit. There we are. You can see how that's allowed us to frame his part of the image a bit more. And then on a further new layer, I'm just going to add a good old generalized vignette. Not that small. Radius up. And I want to squeeze it more egg shape. Radius again. There. Just right on the edges. There we go. So to compare, that's where we started. That was the captura shot. And that's what we've got now. That's the transition to bring him out of the captura and into the graphic that's actually showing him off. All I'm doing is a little bit of shading, brightness, contrast. That's all it is. Slightly kind of screwed up over here, but you know what, it's fine. Is it fine? That's better. Yeah. I think that captures the essence of CYTE-09. If you didn't know what CYTE-09 is, you just opened up this book of warframes, a player at your group said, hey, DM, can you use some of these warframes? I think this would be great. You're flicking through, like, okay, blah, 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 blah. You see this picture, immediately followed by the CYTE-09 blurb. Check the walls, check them again, he's hidden, yada yada. It's like, right, yeah, I know exactly what this guy does. Hides away, uses magic to scry, snipes your ass. Got him. So long as that's the vibe I'm giving, the picture has done its job. So that's where I ask you, chat, have I succeeded? Is that what we're looking at here? If I zoom like this, I can just move it across and put me out the way of it. Okay, I'm saying yes. Maybe needs a seek sensor next to him as well. I feel like that could be busy. I feel like at that point it leads the person questioning too much about what an item is. You just walked in, the picture says sneaky dude about to shoot someone in the head. Hey, there we are. Cool. So, Selef, if you see that picture, and then you're immediately followed up on the next page with... Let me just find the thing. Check the walls, check them again. This warframe can set up scrying sensors well beyond ordinary detection and shoot with lethal effect through entire stone walls. It's never what you can see which kills you. If that's what you read, and that's what you see, does that feel like CYTE-09 to you? I'm out of tea, I need water instead. I feel like it does. Works for you? Yeah. Splendid. Works for Cryo. Splendid. Alright then. I'm going to have to switch y'all to an intermission screen for a moment, because when saving, it pops up with various files I have in places, and unfortunately due to NDAs, there are some things you are not allowed to see. So let me just export this. This is CYTE-09. That goes there. I think it would be good to have another picture that fully shows him so the DM can get a proper look. That's a fair point. See if I got space to put that in somewhere. I feel like you still get a good idea as to how he looks, and beyond that, if the DM really needs more inspiration, they could just Google CYTE-09, I'll be honest. They could just Google him. But yeah. Impression and emotion is the core of the graphics there. If someone can look at a frame and get an idea as to their vibe, their presence, to be inspired, the graphic has done its job. That's all it is. Inspiration, emotion. Beyond that, the stat block, that sells the rest of it. That tells the DM what they actually do. So yeah, got the image saved, and the way I'm doing these now, I don't actually need to upload that to anywhere, because I'll be creating a PDF in a new format after the upload started having issues. It's a whole story. But that means that is done. So the only thing I have left to do now, if I find my document details on this, I need to add 33 images I've identified need to be added throughout the sheet to fill out various spaces. That seems like on the Ash spell sheet there's a lot of empty space, so I'd like an image on the Ash section to further fill that out. On Banshee, on one page there's just a whole column where nothing could fit, so that's where a graphic could go. I need an image for Venari, those kinds of things. Once I've got those in, job done. 33 pictures, that's what remains. 33 pictures, and then I go through and do one final sanity check, make sure I've not got anything spelled wrong, make sure I've not got anything in the wrong places, and then I make it available to everyone. Yeah, that's that. So this really is the very last of the D&D Warframe development streams. By the end of this year, unless something catastrophic happens or I just don't look after myself, either is possible, by the end of this year, there will be the announcement and the link to get the entire D&D Warframe project document. That entire document is going to be 272 pages long, including intro and rights and recognitions at the end. 272 pages long, hundreds of stat blocks, genuinely hundreds of them, and that's what nearly 300 custom spells. Nearly 300 custom spells, yeah. Damn. That's a lot of stuff. That is a lot of stuff right there. Oh my god, it's been so long building all this. Next stream is last stream before birthday. To offer D&D as a birthday gift is great. I mean, it'll be after your birthday, but yeah. Who among the Warframe dev team played D&D, and when are we going to get them playing with my work? So, funny you should say that, Doshes. Warframe did do a slightly customized 5e D&D campaign one-shot on stream for QTCC, so I know there are people that are down for exactly that. And I have shown some of this to Reb when I was in Canada in July last year, so yeah, this was 2 years in the making, Christ. And she was excited of the idea of playing in a campaign or something that had Warframes in it as well. So I know there are multiple people at DE who want this kind of thing for themselves. They do. But yeah. Oh my god, I need to stretch. Oh. Gods. Oh, alright, yeah. That's it for now. Yeah, no crazy major revelations. I'm not going to pull a D and be like, and it's available tomorrow. No. Sorry, can't do that for you right now. There are still bits and pieces that need to be finished, but those things don't need to finish up at a stream. They're all small, boring-y bits that need my focus. And right now, my focus has basically run out because it is about 20 to 11 here in the UK. So, we're going to wrap it up there. I hope you have enjoyed this insight into the D&D project once again, and for the probably last time. Look forward to the release before the end of the year. In the meantime, I hope you have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I will catch you on Sunday for the last stream before Christmas. And you have yourselves your absolute best of times. See you around.